All right, man. All right. Got a full house here. Fully stacked over here. Everybody's asleep, man. Let's get into it. Huh? What?
I'll just say let's go. Nothing. Go ahead.
Got me all ready. Let's get into the ish, baby. Okay, so we got a special episode today. First of all, it's your boy G-Net. Yeah, I got a special episode of Straight Up Ish Podcast. Welcome to Straight Up Ish Podcast. First of all, I'm your boy G-Net. Where am I? I thought I had it in speaker view. Oh well, it'll adjust itself. So. Welcome to Straight Up Ish Podcast. We talk life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Just kidding. We talk about life. We talk about relationships. We talk about anime. We talk about purpose. We talk about gaming. We talk about movies. Whatever comes to mind. You know. I'm joined by these two uninvited guests that just burst in and everything. One of them just decided to take a sabbatical, about a week off in Las Vegas. You know, he wanted to just roll the dice and stuff while we here busting our asses. Working, keeping this podcast afloat and everything. Let's give a shout out to Roulette Wheel Ron.
Let's go.
How much did you win, boy? How much did you win?
What's good? Yes,
I just came back. Did you bring anything back for the podcast? Did you bring anything back?
Yeah, I mean, I brought something back. Once I get an invited guest on the podcast, I definitely will sponsor some of this. So. Let me know when I get invited.
I better hear one of those PocketCasts advertisements coming in or something like that. I don't know. I want you to do the ads for them.
Oh, you want me to do the ads?
I bet, baby. We are close.
Got you. I'm gonna do the ads, and then we're gonna get paid off of the Aria. We'll get paid off of Cosmopolitan. We're gonna get paid from these dudes.
I'm sorry, I didn't let you introduce yourself. I just got off on a thing.
Oh. So it's your boy, Ronnie P. My handle, my IG is TSR Photos. You can catch me up there. And yes, I just came back from Vegas.
And he's jet lagged as hell. Look at him. He's swaying back and forth and everything.
Yeah, I can't get this webcam and this screen. Yeah, I can't get this stuff to go up. I'm still working on this webcam thing because it can't go up. I want to have my eyes actually in the thing, and it's just in the screen. It's just not working.
Oh, you know what? Well, my little webcam thing, I usually have it standing by itself. I put a little rubber band underneath because sometimes it kind of sinks.
Yeah,
a little bit slowly. I don't know why it does.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, just put a little thing in there, a little wedge or something to keep it up.
All right, I'll try that. If you see my screen slowly sinking,
yeah, you need to put a little.
It's Halloween, so just think of it as a
clothing
ghost.
Pin or something. Yeah, you possess little camera.
Matt, what's good? Get that handle plug.
What's going on, guys? Your boy Matt, Froby Robes, here with another episode. This is part 2. I think part 2, being on your purpose, being high value. Guys, strap in. Let's go to work.
Part 2 coming in. So this is a little disclaimer and everything. So because I got a little message from one of our listeners and everything, said that we are cussing too much. Primarily me. I say this every episode. We are not Oprah. We're not Ricky Lake. We're not Dr. Phil. We come up here and we say, keep it real. We're Straight Up Ish Podcast. We don't give a beep how you feel. Oh, bars. Anyway, I say that every week. Every week we're gonna be a little cousin, and I know the argument and everything. Like, it shows a lack of intelligence and everything. If you look, studies show that it's actually the opposite. All right, because you're coming from a moral standpoint. You know, and morality is arbitrary. So if you're gonna say like all that stuff, you better come with something with facts, not emotions and opinions. All right. If you look at things like NPR, I look at NPR, look at Manhattan College studies, they actually link. There's no real link between intelligence and swearing. You know, it's basically language. Yeah. Like they just added finna to the dictionary. What is finna? I know what it means, but what's finna? You know?
Oh wow, they really added that to the dictionary?
They literally added that. They added it because they said we might as well everybody's saying it. So like words like fuck, shit, bitch have been in the dictionary for ages, all right? Don't be telling me I can't use that. It's in the dictionary.
Right.
Anyway.
Don't try it.
Anyway, we have a special guest coming in, helping us out for this part 2 of Stay on Your Purpose, becoming a high-value male. Straight up ish people, my pieces of ish. Give it up for our friend Will.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for the invite. You know, just to give you a little background about myself, I'm a reservist in the military, you know, part-time government employee. You know, I started a small business this year, looking to get a government contract. Learned a little about crypto, so these are things I just wanted to talk a little bit about and provide some resources to some of your subscribers, your viewers. So let's get in it.
Yeah. Anything you don't want to disclose, because we don't want bags over our heads, just don't disclose it. You know what I mean? Because we all be sitting there.
I hear that.
Lined up, they ready to do the James Bond, swinging that thing and hitting them in the balls and everything like that.
We don't want that. We don't want that heat. We don't want that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Governments don't play, man. Them governments don't play. All right, so yeah, just to give you a little background and stuff. We were like last week, we were talking about, you know, stay on your purpose and stuff, and why having a purpose, especially as a male, is so important. And it basically kind of keeps you on track. It keeps you, because a lot of us have a void inside of us we're trying to fill and everything, and we're like, why are we here? And having an actual purpose actually helps fill that void. You don't feel as empty. You don't feel as like you're just wandering around the earth, just looking for a nut, you know. So, and it actually helps you in all aspects of your life, man. Like it helps you with taking charge of your life, raising a family. Helps with girls. It just makes you just high value. So we were just going in, and we're just, you know, looking to continue. Will's got a lot of tidbits that can help out. We have some stuff we can expand on what we talked about last week. And yeah, let's get into it, man. Whoever wants to jump in, because I got notes right here, man. I'm ready.
I wasn't here
So
last week.
You want me to start, or?
Oh yeah, by all means, please.
Oh, I don't know if Ronald's getting. That's all him. I don't know. You know, maybe he needs a refresher too.
No, I wasn't even here, so I'm ready to hear. You know, boy, what's going on.
You better listen to the podcast, man. You up there and say, oh.
You know, I was on a time zone difference.
I know you were playing blackjack and all that shit, but I mean,
I was shaking the dice, doing craps, taking craps. You know.
I want to hear you taking craps. That's for another.
He was trying to make
damn.
He was trying to make $1.15, man. He's trying to double up, triple up.
Oh yeah.
Quadruple up.
I was trying not to be one of them dudes in the corner shaking back and forth like I lost all my money, all that stuff. I was just going for it. I was trying to make double or nothing most of the time.
Right, man. Because I was like, what are you gonna bet now? Some skin? Shit.
I was trying not to go there.
Yeah, you don't want to be. Yeah, you don't want to be whoring yourself out in Reno or something.
Oh. Yeah. So, Will, you could definitely go ahead and you know, tell us what you think. That'd be great.
Well, a little bit of a personal experience that kind of was like the turning point for me. It was about a little over 5.5 years ago. But when you're working a job that's like, you know, I would say middle class, like around 40 to 50K, you kind of settle and you get comfortable in kind of, you know, what you're doing. But then deep down inside, you know, you want to do something different. I could really remember it was 2015 where there was three instances. The first is when I was coming back from a training out of state that I was doing for about 4 months, that I got kind of used to like a more active, more engaging kind of lifestyle where there was always change. And then going back to like a normal 9 to 5, something didn't sit right with me. So I took a trip that year in 2015 to Brazil with some friends, somewhere I haven't been to since I was like a little boy. And then I just knew that it was refreshing, it was new. And then when I'm back to the job, I had this feeling of, man, this life is dull and stale. And then after a few months, I made a trip to Colorado, something new, fresh. Got a rental, was driving around the Boulder, dealing with the elevation, had me huffing and puffing, but it was beautiful to see those mountains out there. Then I came back to the job. This is the second trip. And I said, damn, like something's not right. Something's not right in life. And then on the third trip, I had family in Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, which I've never been to before, which is nice. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I think it's called Malls of America, where it has like a freaking
oh yeah, it's like an amusement
almost
park,
like a carnival inside. Yeah, an amusement park. I never seen that. It was crazy. So
yeah,
again, I saw. Yeah, it was nice. So I saw family there I haven't seen in many years, and it was nice to reconnect. And again, I felt refreshed during the trip, shortly after the trip. But when I went back to the job, I said, damn, like, why do I feel out of place? And I realized the people I was working with were kind of set in their ways. They were older, like in the 40s, 50s, kind of like, lack of a better term, they were dead inside, in my opinion. And they were just going, doing the grind just because they had no ambition to do anything else. And I just felt very out of place. So I had to do what I called, go through the crossroads. It's called my quarter life crisis, as I called it at the time, where I said, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue the same path that I'm going, or am I going to do something that I find rewarding, even though it makes me uncomfortable? Now, needless to say, I decided to do what was uncomfortable, but there was so much uncertainty. And what I would say to a lot of your viewers or subscribers, anyone that consumes this content, it's okay to be afraid or, fail in some regard when you're doing something new, as long as you have a contingency plan. Like one thing they talk about in the military is PACE planning. You got your primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency plan. So if you fall on your face, what's your backup plan? Okay, like I took an L, I made a trip to do a new job or start a new job, but it didn't work out. How much savings do I got? What do you have after that? Oh, you have family to rely on. So it kind of alleviates some of that stress of jumping into the unknown when you have a plan. Me, I take calculated risks where it's a little more risky, but I feel like my odds are good because I eliminate a lot of the pitfalls that I might run into, like by doing due diligence. I could go in a little further the whole journey, but I decided to leave my home state to go to a new state that I've never been to. Don't have any family there. It took me a while to build a roots, but I did, and I haven't looked back.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
But,
I know about like moving to a new state and everything, but I commend you and Matt, because you guys like had like nobody in those states that you moved to, so you only had you to rely on, and you had to like put yourself out there and everything to make contacts and stuff. Like at least I had some family and friends down here in Georgia, so I couldn't even imagine like the isolation and everything you feel and everything. You're alone there, alone with your own thoughts and shit, because that's very scary for anybody.
And
definitely, it really depends.
Go ahead,
no, I'm sorry. I'm going to just say this real quick, because sometimes being by yourself is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're alone with your thoughts and you're focusing on what you need to do, that's great. But if you're alone with your thoughts and you're more of like a social person that needs interaction to a certain extent, I can see how it could be very destructive as well. But that's what I want to put out. It's just how you manage it, how you manage the stress, you manage the differences. I'm sorry, Ron, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, shout out to you, like, just getting out there and learning that you see more to life than just working a 9 to 5 and the 30, 40K, where it's just like, and you notice the surroundings, like you notice the people in the job are just like, like just moving. They're stuck in time, and, going and traveling and seeing different places and just noticing that there's more to life, you know?
Yeah, that alone time really it does wake something up in you, like that old survival thing. Like, I think that's something exclusive for a guy, for a male, because it literally forces you that it awakens some sort of, I don't know what it's called, some sort of like primal need to accomplish. All right, I'm in this funk. I gotta get out of this sand trap. You know, I'm isolated. I gotta think my way through this. So it forces your gears to start running and say, all right, what do I have to do to survive? Because the survival instincts kick in. So we're used to accomplishing. So I'm like, okay, I gotta find a way to make money, or I gotta find a way to improve my social life. I gotta find a way to plan for my future. All this stuff that comes boring into your brain when you're alone with your thoughts. So I think that's what really helped with me with when the quarantine was up. You know, I had a chance to just explore my own potential. Whereas, you know, if it were a normal day, I'm just going through my normal routine, and I really don't have, not that I don't have the time, but I don't really stop to think about these things that we all take for granted every day.
Yes, and that goes back into what we were talking about regarding the loneliness, being alone with your thoughts. As long as your thoughts are constructive, or you have the assistance to kind of like focus that energy towards something constructive. For example, I haven't seen my dad, you know, since before the pandemic, and you know, in 2019, and like my mom longer than that. But if you're continuing to nurture that relationship through calling them or texting and telling them how you feel, or talking about your dreams and aspirations, you might not physically be there with them, but you have that emotional connection that might get you through those times of like separation, which, you know, side note, mental health is a big thing in the United States or in the world, and that not having that outlet can be difficult. And just being able to talk to somebody about your thoughts, your dreams, or whatever you have problems with could probably alleviate a lot of that, you know, those issues you might be dealing with.
Right.
I definitely agree with what Will's saying. You know, from my own experience, that's why, you know, even like being on this podcast, you know, to me is, you know, rather therapeutic in a way, because you know, we have a platform where, you know, young men can get together, or women can get together, kind of talk about our experiences, talk about our stories, talk about how we feel in general. But you know, again, piggybacking on what Will was saying in terms of, you know, moving to a new state, not really knowing anyone. It's a scary thing. It really is. But I think the most growth comes at a time when we're uncomfortable. You know, because when you're comfortable, you know, you're not really going to grow because it's something you're used to. You're comfortable with it. But when you're uncomfortable, you know, man, it's really a time where you really have to dig deep and say, you know, can I get through this? You know, you really have to have those conversations with yourself. And, you know, on the flip side, you know, being around people who kind of are like-minded and share that same ambition that you have in terms of wanting to improve every day, every week, every month, every year, it really does get contagious. And then when you're with people who don't think that way and they're kind of just going through the motions, you know, 9 to 5, it's almost kind of depressing in a way, because you're like, man, you know, I really don't see the world this way. Like, I know I have more to offer. I know I have more potential. So sometimes being around people who think the same way of, hey, you know, how can I make more money next year? Or how can I, you know, bring more value to my life? You know, being around those type of people, it really is, you know, contagious.
Yeah, and mental health, like, and you're right. Like, I think we need more platforms like this, because I feel like we live in some sort of almost like a matriarchy nowadays. Like, everything is geared towards women, like women empowerment, women body positivity. There's almost nothing for the men unless you actively seek it out. Like those people like AMS, like Corey Wayne or whatever. I would have known about it if I had heard it from Matt, or searched it out on YouTube or whatever. It's out there, but it's not mainstream. And a lot of it is geared towards, you know, empowering women, which is fine, but you don't empower one side and just leave the other side to defend for themselves. You know, like, we're expected to perform and everything, but we're not given the mental strength we're not given the mental strength to perform, because it all starts up here, so if we don't believe in ourselves, if we don't feel good about ourselves, and we don't feel enough confidence to go out and perform, we're not going to do it. It's going to take it would take a lot of mental strength, a lot of talking to people and everything. You can't just dismiss how you're feeling inside in order to just accomplish something on the outside, if that makes sense.
That definitely does.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough platforms out there. And as soon as you talk about men empowering themselves, they say like, oh, chauvinistic, male, misogynist, all that stuff. But all it is about making sure we're okay. That's all it is. And I think it's not enough. It's not mainstream enough. Like, if it's always like, it's either this or that, very black and white, double standards, and it's usually against us. So
definitely.
And I was talking about it. I was talking about with Matt yesterday. Like, he was talking about stuff that he regretted doing, and I asked him, like, are these regrets or are they lessons that you learned? And he says a little of both. I said, well, a regret is really something that you wish hadn't happened, that you wish you could go back and change. But if it hadn't happened, you wouldn't have learned this lesson that benefits you today, that causes you to change course and make the course correction to do otherwise. And I mentioned a lot of things that I've done in the past. Like, I've simped for girls a lot and everything, and bought this and that, spent hundreds of dollars and time and hours of my time on certain women and everything that didn't deserve it, didn't give me a time of day. And I measured my own self-worth against these women. And if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have learned the lessons I need for today to not do that, or else if they never happened, then what's to say it wouldn't happen today? What's to say it wouldn't happen in the future? So these things, like taking the L, I like to call it taking lessons, because these L's have to occur. These mistakes, these errors, they have to occur for you to get better, So.
Just to piggyback off of what you just said, this kind of relates to the whole aspect of not being afraid to fail or taking L's. So you got to take L's. You take L's in business. You learn not to take L's in the future, right? You take L's in relationships. You learn not to take L's in future relationships. And you touched on a few things that I really believe in, development, empowerment. And that goes into education. And I kind of wanted to talk, we work our way through the conversation about certain things that I had to learn, creating a small business, and failures that I had previously that I was able to like sidestep and avoid this turnaround. And it showed some growth and empowerment in terms of, there was one point when I was learning about business when I first came to my new state to live in Texas, that I figured out that I thought, I need a lot of people to support me to build. But at one point, at a certain point, there's some truth to that where you want to outsource and find people on Fiverr or contract work to do certain things. But you don't need to rely on as many people as you think, because there's a lot of strength with you inside to learn and capability to organize. You might need a few people around you, but you don't need to rely on everything on other people, because that's a part of the growing process. And another thing you brought up is we live in a world of absolutes where people look at it black and white, whether you can or can't do something, as opposed to like you can, but at a future date, or you're building to that point. A lot of times even with dating, people look at a guy where they are right now, not where they have the potential to be if you build with them. So I want to kind of keep some of these themes for the continuing part of the conversation, but does anyone else have anything to add on those points?
Well, as far as like what you just said, like, are you talking about like girls that want to be there at the finish line and they don't see the struggle? They don't recognize the struggle.
Well, part of that, you could take anything you want and unravel it, and you could just roll with that.
Yeah, that's what
I just came up with.
That's what I like. I don't know. I was watching something like a few minutes ago about that, and I'm staying on the subject of like relationships and stuff, because like someone like most girls are gonna be like, I want this man who'd be making this amount, who's doing this and everything. They're not gonna look twice at a person, and that only accounts for 10% of the male population. They're not gonna look at the dude who's grinding at McDonald's or whatever, but at the same time he's taking night courses at such a school to elevate himself up to that level that they're looking for. But most girls aren't interested in that. They're all interested in the end result, So they still will hold men to the traditional standard and stuff, but as far as tradition on their end, they don't really want to do that. That's the whole frustrating thing behind dating today, because like guys are they're still looking for tradition in a lot of women, and because traditionally the man is dominant and the woman is submissive, and submissive doesn't mean slave. I think that's what a lot of women like mistake that term for. Submissive is more taking a back seat, and you're just allowing the man to take his place and lead. And they feel that it's no, I don't feel empowered. I don't feel all this and that. So it's sort of a double standard there. That's the frustrating thing. That's what I got out of it. So and I always tell people on this platform that men are the prize, and with this two-parter, we're showing them how to become that prize, and then therefore form some a standard to show that you're high value. Because if you have certain standards, you're only going to tolerate a certain type of people in your life, not just women, but friends or whatever. You're only going to tolerate for so much because life's too short to just accept everybody like a disco. So if you're a high value man, you're not just gonna let any Tom, Dick, and Harry just walk into your life and everything and just do whatever the hell they want. It's like, no, I won't stand for that. You're gonna adhere to my standard, or you're gonna hit the road. So someone like me, for my example, nowadays I would not accept somebody who's just gonna be there at the finish line, because when things really get bad, if I run into a snag or have a problem later on in life, is she running for the hills? She packing her bags? I want somebody who's going to stay there through thick and thin, not someone who's there when the good times are rolling. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. That's what I got out of it.
I agree.
Yeah, same. You want somebody who's, if you have a purpose, from where I got, if you have a purpose in life, and sometimes you may not know your purpose right away. Sometimes it's like a deep down feeling. You do want, maybe you may not be able to express it like, right away to your significant other, and or if you're dating and they don't know, maybe, like you want somebody, of course, that's gonna like, if they have a purpose, you have a purpose, somehow, some way that purpose will come together. Doesn't have to overlap. Like, you can do your thing and I will help out in your purpose. I'll do my thing. And if I need your help in my purpose, then, of course that would be great. But, a lot of times, like, Will G saying, you just gotta, a lot of people are looking for, what do you have right now instead of where are you going? Some people who want to see the right now and they're not worried about where you're going to be ending up in 5 to 10 years. Your plan may be a 10-year plan where it's going to flourish in 10 years, but right now they want to see what you got right now. I hope I ain't go off topic.
I say like
that's related.
Like me and Matt said this last week, like the difference between purpose and a passion. Like a passion are things that are leading up to your purpose, because your purpose, I don't know if you guys agree, a purpose is to be the best version of yourself you can be, as long as you're here on this earth. So that means through education, through your mental states, your relationship, financial, your whole being is just, you're a high value. You're basically a glowing fruit You know, I wrote this down. That passion is something that's not guaranteed. You must actively pursue through trial and tribulation with the uncertainty of whether or not you're going to succeed, but you just still persevere. You know, so and if you're a man of high value, you have to treat yourself like you're like your own business. You know, you're gonna constantly do things to help improve yourself, because if you've been in a business, it's always an uncertainty. There's always a uncertainty. There's whether or not you're going to get that business deal tomorrow, next week, or whatever it is you're going to go through. Is your business going to succeed in the future? You're always, not that you're always on edge, but you're always strategizing. Okay, we're good here, but that may not last forever. How can I improve? There's always room for improvement. You know, so I wrote down, you are your own business. You know, you have the ability to envision where you'll be years from now, and you'll realize that there's no instant gratification, and patience and perseverance is the key. All right. So when it comes, so if you're high value, you have unshakable standards and that are non-negotiable. For romantic relationships, I stated in the past, I don't want no ratchet, loud, combative women who are out of shape and closed-minded. All right. If you're loud,
that is not the prize. That is the opposite of the prize.
If you're ratchet, dismiss. Not open-minded, dismiss.
Oh gosh.
Out of shape, shit spilling all over your pants, dismiss.
Excommunicado. Like John Wick.
Women are always praised for having these same standards. Why not the men? Why are we just accepting anything?
Hypocrisy. Yeah, it is a lot of hypocrisy.
It is, man. Because look, if you're a man without standards, all right? Let's say you're a man without standards, without self-respect, you let people walk all over you, you know, say like, oh, what do you want to eat, babe? Oh, all right, whatever you pick. No, you pick. You know, whatever you want, I'm with it. Oh, you're canceling our date last minute? Oh, it's because your friend from out of town you haven't seen in a while is here? All right, go ahead. I'll just do something until you're ready to accept me. You know, but what kind of shit is that, man? You know, because if you're a high value dude, you have multiple options. There are like significantly more girls than there are guys on the earth. That's a fact. All right, so you got a buffet, and us guys have the longevity, man. We can have babies up until we're like what, 70 or 80.
Probably longer than that.
You're good.
I don't know. There's a dude who has a 52-year-old wife out in Bangladesh, something like that. He's like 112.
It happens, man. You know, hey, as long as it works, what can you say?
That dude's pulling ass at 112, man. Damn.
He ain't worried about
his work, man. Because because I know girls are gonna say like, you know, oh my God, who hurt you? You know, and that's a shaming tactic, right? That's a shaming tactic when you get a little too close to the truth and everything and all that stuff. But this is not to say, you know, women suck and stuff, men are better and all that stuff. That's not my position. It's to say that it's to teach the guys that accepting this certain type of behavior shouldn't be acceptable, you know? And it makes you look like a weak little P word when you let the girls do this, and the girls lose more respect for you. You know, because they're not gonna. If you don't have respect for yourself, they're not gonna bring it. They're not gonna bring respect to you. In fact, they'll disrespect you. They'll spit on you.
All right.
And they'll more than likely cheat.
I agree with that.
So this is not about being, you know,
I agree.
Chauvinistic, all that shit. This is about just basic self-respect. That's it. That's
right.
I don't see anything wrong.
Yep.
I don't. You know?
There's nothing wrong with it.
I got a question for you, gentlemen.
Shoot.
So how do we get to that level? Like everyone has probably an opinion, a different philosophy. So anyone want to chime in? What gets us to that point, being high value or reaching your purpose, your passion, whatever you want to call it? Maybe you can sum it up in a little bit, or certain things that you think that men should be doing.
I'll state my opinion.
Because if we're the prize, we have to be the prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll state my opinion because I haven't had a chance to talk. So
definitely, we've been hogging it. We have been hogging it. We are assholes.
So much to say. I will say that
I should see it as a lifestyle. I don't put a time limit on it. I think it's a lifestyle that you should employ immediately. And you could start with, okay, so I want to start by knowing shit. Like I say, every day you should learn something, whether it be a word, a little bit of a language, a skill, a trivial fact about geography or whatever. Learn something every day. Try something that scares you every day. Haha, I took that, Matt. Man,
you know I'm gonna say that. I had that written down in my notes and everything.
I flipped the rug from under you, boy.
Yeah.
No, like
this is how you treat your friends. I want to see how you treat your enemies.
When it comes to girls, so I realize like a lot of us come with like approach anxiety as far as like girls or anybody, but I'll say girls. So if you're walking in the supermarket and everything, start with like saying, "Hey, what's up?" Or a nod or something. Just like sometimes my goal is just to make a girl smile. Not to get their number, just to make a girl smile.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I like your shirt. Or your hair looks nice. Thank you. Anything. Yeah, I mean, if you say anything to them, then it's gonna crack open a smile. And if they don't, move on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, and it all leads up to something. It's like a farmer's patience. And pretty soon you move on from smiling to actually having a conversation. From there, you get actually, I don't know, get the number, tell a little about yourself and everything. Hey, I'd like to expand on this conversation, over dinner or whatever, or a certain activity or whatever, or what's your number? Or anything else. Like it's just, it builds on certain things. It's not gonna be overnight. It's a constant improvement. I watch YouTube videos, I read books, listen to podcasts. All that stuff like feeds into it. You just have to give it the time. You have to have the patience and perseverance. If you're not there yet mentally, if you're not open, it's not going to work. All right. So you have to give it a chance. You have to have, because like I said in the last podcast, Rome wasn't built in a day. If you're afraid to, let's say, go outside, you take it step by step. You start off for a few steps off your porch, a few steps down the block, a few steps down the street. All right. And pretty soon you're walking like several miles away from your house, so it all takes time. You have to give it time, and patience, because there's going to be failures. You got to expect that. You expect it's going to be failures. It's a learning process. That's what's the key is to learning, so finally get a chance to speak. Damn.
Speak on it. Preach. Go ahead, Matt.
I agree with that too. I think there are a couple things that I wanted to add also was one, enjoy the process, not always be results driven. Like G said, learning something new every time or every day that you can. Not only in terms of academic education, but just knowledge in general. Another thing would be forgetting everything that forgetting everything that you were taught. The whole song and dance of we go to school, we get a job, wait until we're 65 to retire, collect social. It's really a thing of the past. So, I think it doesn't really focus on, okay, how do I bring more value to my life? So kind of, scrapping that old way of thinking and really being open-minded in terms of trying new things. Because like I said on previous episodes, it always starts with mindset, with everything, really. If you have a certain mindset, then you could do, things you wouldn't even imagine you could do. So for me personally, I personally need some sort of adversity really to, I guess, level up, I'll say. And adversity also brings that discomfort, which again, I said, I think is necessary to really get to a point where you can become a better person than you were, say, last year or last week. So I think it's trying new things. I think it's enjoying the process. You know, like Garnett said, you're approaching a girl. You may approach a girl, ask for a number. She says, hell no. So then you think, oh man, you know, I got rejected. I'm never going to do this again. But, you know, the point of you actually being able to build the courage to go and talk to that girl, that's a success in itself. So it's not always being result driven. It's taking little steps that eventually will build to something greater. So I think that has a lot to do with it. For me, it's being in situations where I can also help others and inspire others to do great things as well. Because at the end of the day, for me, it's great to have all this knowledge, but you know, it's how do I apply it? How do I help others with the knowledge that I have? So that for me, I think is a great start in terms of becoming high value, being honest with yourself, and looking inside yourself. I mean, it also could be a very scary thing too. I think, like you touched upon, G, facing your fears. Specifically, you know, I started talking to a therapist. You know, I know I usually have that negative connotation, you know, connected with it, but for me, I love it. You know, it was great just to be able to, you know, kind of get my thoughts out there. Because, like I said, everything starts with mindset. So, you know, from that, I was able to gain some confidence and then say, oh, well, you know what? I was able to get this tattoo and I was afraid to do that. But, you know, man, if I could do that, you know, what else can I do? Oh, I can go approach this girl. Man, now that I do that, what else can I do? I can drive across country. Man, what else can I do? And before you know it, you've achieved all these things and you're like, man, I look at where I started to where I am now. So that's why I said, you know, two things, you know, forgetting what you know, staying open-minded, and also just trying new things out.
Yeah, because you gotta make mistakes in order to learn, man. Like you, because most of the people, they're so afraid to make mistakes that they won't even act. They won't make the decision. What is that? Paralysis of indecision or something? Paralysis of analysis or something?
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't even act. They won't, because I'm afraid I'm going to make the wrong decision. You just might make the wrong decision. But, I mean, as my man Negan told Rick, not making the decision is a big decision. You know what I'm saying? That dude is shit.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
So I mean, as far as you know, I think that it's more like first you have to know yourself, know what you want when you, especially being a high value man. You know, if you know exactly, if you know what you want, what type of woman you're looking for, if it's a classy, well maintenance, you know, well-spoken type of individual, you have to set yourself up for those things. And as a high value man, you have to also put yourself in those guidelines. Like, this is what I'm looking for. You can't even come into my vicinity because you won't even know how to approach me. You know, but also, like you said, learning something new, always learn something new, always, you know, progress. Don't be shy. I mean, you can be shy, but don't be scared to be yourself, approach people. You know, those are the things that have the purpose. When people ask you what's going to be your goal, you know, it could be today's goal, may not be tomorrow's goal, but today's goal, like, hey, I want to, you know, start this YouTube and I'm gonna blow it up. And then next thing you know, I went from starting YouTube to doing podcasts, and maybe I'll have my own network TV show or a talk show. So, you know, for the most part, I think that those are things that shows purpose, shows that you're high value. I mean, you know, to a high value, you know, people have to learn how to deal with you because you're not going to be there all the time. You're going to be on the go. You got like 20, 30 things to go through. And they're gonna have to learn how to deal with you when they have, hey, you got time for me? Sure, I got 8 hours. I got 8 hours. You get this 8-hour time, and I'll see you in 2 weeks because I am doing everything to make this money and to live my best life. And I hope when you tell a girl, I hope you could join me on this progress. So that's it for me. I think that's the one goal. I mean, purpose in dating.
I agree too. I think also, something I want to say is you have to be inquisitive. You have to question, why are things the way they are? You have to be, reflective. I think if you look at where your life is today, your life is where it is as a result of a pattern of decisions that you have made. I could look in the mirror and look at my physical body, and I say, oh, damn, I got this double chin going on. I got some jelly rolls on the neck. But I can't be surprised because that's a reflection of what I put in my mouth. It's a reflection of me not going to the gym working out. On the flip side, if I went to the gym, worked out, ate, decently, stopped going to Popeyes and shit like that. Oh, wait, we can't curse. Stop going to Popeyes and Chick-fil-A and stuff. Then my body would reflect that. So just like your body, your life is the same way. Your life reflects the decisions that you have made. So that's why I think there always has to be continued assessment, maybe not on a daily basis, but maybe weekly. Hey, how am I doing in this aspect of my life? How am I doing financially? How can I improve? How am I doing with my mental health? How can I improve? How am I doing with my fitness? How can I improve? How am I doing with my relationships? How can I improve? There always has to be improvement. Like I said, getting out of your comfort zone. If I say to myself, hey, you know what? That right there, I want to achieve this goal, but I don't really know how to go about that. That's what I want to attack. Because if I stay here with everything I know, I'm never going to grow. So I think reaching that level of high value, I think, like you said, G, it's a lifelong process. It never ends. It's not where you get to a point, and really it has nothing to do with money. You can have that dude, like you said, working at McDonald's, he could be high value. You could have another guy who's got, $1 million in the bank, and he's not high value. So it has nothing to do with money. I think it's more of a mindset, the way you look at life. How do you approach life? Questioning, reflecting, assessing life. Because again, like I said, life is a culmination of decisions in a period of time. So if you could look at your life now and say, okay, I'm at this point in my life. Am I satisfied with where I am? What decisions have I made that have culminated to where I am now? And you know what? What decisions can I make in the future to basically improve my life? So, I would say, I'm 20 years old. I've done this for 20 years. Man, what can I do so that the next 20 years are better than my last 20 years? So that's where the reflection really has to come into play. And that's really all I have.
Yeah, when you high value.
What do you think?
Oh, go ahead, Will. Jeez.
Yeah. So I took some notes on we were talking about things I really believe in, and then you guys kind of just bring it all home. Matt brought up leveling up and like overcoming adversity, and I find that really interesting because a lot of people, at times myself, I don't do it as much because I'm not a kid anymore. Think of how much time people spend playing video games and leveling up their character, getting to level 50 or 100, but they won't take that same amount of energy. There it is. But they don't spend that same type of energy on leveling themselves up. Like if they have a deficiency, whether they want to get better at like shooting a jump shot, they want to get better at talking to girls, being more confident, selling in sales, they won't take that time to level up. And I find that interesting. So, it might have to do with the building your confidence, anyone that's lacking. The other thing that Matt brought up was, and I do that myself because I know if I you say you're crossing your bridge and you don't want to go back or you want to go forward, you might have to destroy that bridge. So you have no other option to move forward instead of backward, because I do that to some extent. Mm-hmm. And growth is going to come through that, that adversity. And I really believe that. And I learned, we talked about education or learning something every day. And I can learn to think something from like a random movie. And I remember Kingsman. Do you remember that movie? You guys remember that movie where it's about like kind of spies in the UK?
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah, there's a really fire quote that I wanted to bring up, and it was from Ernest Hemingway. And the whole premise of the movie is, you know, you have this guy that's like lower class trying to get into this aristocratic, like high status, posh, like snobs in terms of people, right? But one guy sees some potential in this young guy, and he takes him under his wing, which we should talk about mentorship later, but it kind of ties it in. Mm-hmm. And he said, "You're going to teach me how to talk on profit." I said, "True nobility isn't being superior to your fellow. True nobility is being superior to your former self. Always a little better than you were the last week, last day. You know what I mean? Just try to add more to your skill set." And Matt brought up something that I wanted to add on more. He's like, you know, what you do spending your time on. Well, he brought up something else, but I think I related to the time. What you spend your time on is a reflection of what you believe. In leveling up, you believe in purpose, spending time on your passion, that's what you will be doing. So if you want to identify certain areas where anyone can improve, whether yourself or people around you, look at what they do, not what they say, but what they do. Do they spend their time maybe reading a book, trying to learn about business, or looking at a YouTube video, reading a podcast? So these are low-hanging fruit, I would say. Like if you notice certain things you don't like about yourself and what you're doing, cut it out right there. And then we talked about I think Matt was trying to really get at self-assessments. And I remember I used to read a lot of like philosophy back when I was younger, and Socrates used to mention something about self-assessment. And I'm going to quickly read something. He constantly examined his own ideas and his character. He saw such self-examination, whether conducted by himself or in the companionship with conversation with partners, to be the greatest good of life, of worth living. So like kind of what we are, we're in like a round circle right now, and we're talking about what's a good life to live, what's a life of purpose and fulfillment. So just to wrap all that stuff in, that's what I kind of see what we should be striving for, or at least trying to get to in our lifetime, you know, living a life of purpose and fulfillment.
That's right.
Well, that's what we talked about. Me and G talked about last week as well, is living with intent, you know, intentionally, you know, saying, hey, and he's direct. I want this, I go and I attack it. It's simple as that. It's not living based on what, you know, circumstances have brought you, but it's living a life that's intentional. But, you know, the reflection that comes in, your meaning of being high value changes, it evolves as you get older. And that's just a result of experience, wisdom that's gained over time. You know, your purpose today may not be the same as it is next year or in 5 years. Which is fine. Purpose change. But that's why, I still say there has to be that reflection, has to be that assessment, and to the point where you just embody it. I mean, you don't have to go telling people, hey, I'm high value. I'm high value. You don't have to actually say it, because you just live it. It's just, it's almost like coming out of your pores. I mean, it's something where you give it everything you got, type of thing. You eat, sleep, and breathe it, basically. And that's what I wanted to add. But I think you were saying something, Jay.
Did we lose Will?
Yeah, I think we lost him.
I think we lost him.
Well, I think he's still on one, but yeah.
He probably still see us. He can't hear us. He probably have to call in or something. This thing's a little unstable. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
I see 4 participants.
We are live. Huh?
He'll be back.
No, I see his
audio. I mean, I see his thing. Yeah.
He needs his audio. Let me see. Connect him to audio. Because I don't put people in a room. Is he trying to contact you, Matt?
No, not that I see.
He probably hit the link again.
Let me see.
But Yeah, but like I definitely feel y'all with the high value and having a purpose. It's like you really need to have it. There you go.
There he is. He's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, some people they didn't want me to talk about my purpose, so I had to come back, man. Passionate about being here. Nothing can stop me. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that. Anyway.
Ron,
what did I miss?
No, you didn't miss much. We
were trying to figure out where you were. We saw you going. We thought we were next.
No. This happens all the time when you start talking about certain topics. Big Brother, the platforms don't like it.
You're like, we can't have that.
No. You see one disappear. Next
put your laptop in a Cheeto bag. But yeah, also what we didn't talk about was like the company you keep matters too. So, if you're spending most of your time with people on your level, preferably you want people above your level so you can learn from them. But people like doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, whoever. Back to mentorship. Yeah, the mentorship. Yeah, like you'll feed off their success, and you'll most likely prosper as well. On the flip side, if you're dealing with fuck ups, that said fuck, layabout, mediocre people,
right? We don't
monetization.
People who are going. I don't care about the monetization. This is important, man. This is important. If you're going hanging with people who are going nowhere in life, living in that mediocrity, you're gonna end up that way most likely, because you're basically the sum of the people you hang out with. All right, because we're humans, we're social creatures and everything. We pick up on a lot of things, and we gravitate to people who are most likely the people we have stuff in common with, And going back to the leveling up thing, like let's take it you're in a Final Fantasy game, okay? Your party members, you're leveling up, makes you level 20, 30, 40, 50, I see my party members, okay, he's level 45, he's level 46, he's level 50. We got this straggler, level 4.
He's getting KO'd every single hit.
Yeah, we're fighting a boss. Level 90 boss. Takes all of us to beat him. We got everybody's holding their own. We got the level 4 guy. He's dying at every hit. And someone's got to run over, stop attacking, run over and heal him at every single turn.
No defense. No auto revive. No nothing. He's bringing down the team. He's up there saying, "Oh, revive me! Revive me!" Yeah, let me stop. So you gotta make a decision.
Meanwhile, the boss.
You gotta make a decision whether you want to keep that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do we want to keep that guy in the party?
Right.
Does he want to level up? Does he want to do the grind? Does he want to go grind for like 7 hours?
Yeah.
Or 12 hours, however long it takes to get at least halfway decent.
Right.
Grind at least level 20 or something. I don't know. Get something going, man. We're not going to bring you in like, oh, hey, guys, what's up? We're just coming into the party. Level 4. We're like level 60 by then. I'm like, come on, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Got ideas for the show? Got questions for us? Or maybe you want to tell us we suck? Hit us up at straightupishtalk@gmail.com.
Bring it down the team.
Revive me.
I mean, it makes sense, man. Like,
it does.
You just come in with your level 4 with the default weapons that you came in the game with, and we got all these new weapons that we grinded for, and you come in with your level 4 power, like you hit the boss, beep, 2 HP.
That's it. That's all you got too.
You know when you do damage, to a boss and it shows like the number where there's like 20, 50. When that level 4 guy hits him, it's gonna be 0, no damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Negative.
He didn't do nothing. Probably healed him. Probably made him stronger.
he took damage. The level 4 dude took damage. The boss is like, "Are you serious?"
Like, bro, you got the default armor they show on the cover of the game. Like you coming in with that weak shit. Come on, man. You got to keep him in the party. Most likely not until he grinds to a level that's acceptable. But that's what I'm saying. Like you're always the company you keep. All right, you're as strong as your weakest link. All right. So you either eliminate that weakest link, or that weakest link got to get with the program and level up. Because I look at it as a race, you know. Just as we're racing toward a goal. You know, we can take a few breaks here and there, but we're still racing. We're still maintaining our stride. This person decides to drop out of the race. I'm gonna take a break. It's a little hard. And by the time he decides to get back into the race, he hasn't leveled up. He's weak, and you're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. You just leave him behind. And he's gonna ask you like, "Oh, can you stop? Can you stop and wait for me to get to where you're at?" I'm like, you're like jogging in place. You're like, no, man, I gotta go. I mean, come on. I mean, you gotta get with the program, man. That's just that. And I said in the last podcast, man, you gotta keep racing. You're not promised tomorrow. You know, people going on life like, oh, it's gonna be like this the rest of my life. You know, I'm gonna be chilling here with my mojito and everything and drinking and shit. No, it's not gonna be that way. No, I mean, you're not guaranteed that. You're just not.
Yeah, you definitely have to keep people. Oh, my bad, Matt.
Sorry, just real quick. That goes double for romantic relationships. I mean, like, friends is one thing, but who you're with romantically, again, is a reflection on you. It really is. So if you're someone who's ambitious, you know, like attracts like. You're someone who's ambitious, being with someone who's not, and then having to kind of carry the load and lift them up. It's almost like an anchor, and they're just dragging you down with them. You can do it, but speaking from experience, it is fatiguing. It really is. And it really does slow down your progress in terms of where you're trying to get. So why go through that when you can take your time, be patient, and find someone who is on the same level as you, and you guys are just going at it every day. Every day.
Yeah, man. I always tell you, like, what if you're trying to be a doctor? You're up there mingling at the physician's banquet, connecting, making connections and everything, shaking hands and all that stuff, telling them what you do, what you aspire to be. And then you bring your date. Hey, y'all. Get lit up in here. Oh, my baby's a doctor. He won't be a doctor, man. He won't be a doctor. Oh, yeah.
Hey, she's a keeper.
How's that look to you though? Like, how the doctor's gonna look at you like, because it's the representation of who you are and what your choices you make.
That girl right there will be the first one when you walking across the stage. She'll be the first one yelling, "That's my baby! That's my baby!"
You're all ratchet, weave and everything, red weave. God. You know, got my weight, all that. All right, nobody, all right, don't worry about it. That's mine. Yeah.
Strap that weave down, girl. Come on.
You'd want to die. You'd want to die right there. Oh my God.
But you definitely, like, you should have the company you keep definitely makes your progress in life. You know, it will bring it up or it will bring it down. So if you're not hanging with the right people who, you know, if you're interested in travel and you gotta go with people who's gonna travel. If they don't go nowhere, they don't go nowhere. You can't help that. If they don't want to make money, if you're interested in making money and starting a business, you know, you want people that's gonna start the business. You want those people with you who is gonna help you get to that point. Now I'm not saying that there aren't other qualities and, you know, and the people that you do hang out with or that are lower level that you can still hang out with. But if you're looking to progress, I mean, as far as your wealth, your livelihood, then you need to hang out with those who would get you to that point. And you're not taking, you know, like I said, you're not taking anything from those who don't want to go, but they do see, you know, what you're doing. And sometimes they want that. They're going to want you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to, you know, somehow, like Will said, mentoring. That might be your mentoring right there, getting them to where you are, and then they can enjoy whatever you're doing.
But they're gonna have to want it.
They gotta want it.
If they don't want it, if they just want like the benefits of whatever you're doing and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just gotta show. If they don't want to take the road to get to where you are, then obviously you're trying to get a free ride, and unfortunately that's not the way it goes. But with relationships, same thing. If she's not on your level, same way. Yep. You can show the ropes. Hey, I see where you want to be, or you see where I'm at, or you see where I want to be. Jump on. If you can jump on. If you can't, then look, I can't carry you a whole way and just let you take the back seat. It's either you're helping me get there. You don't have to be on the same level, but you can help, or we're on the same level and we're both doing it together. Even if you're at a higher level, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just the fact of what are we all bringing to the table to make these progression in life, go further. And, those are the things you want, especially in a relationship. You cannot be in somewhere where to do something, or you're trying to start, you want to buy a house, and this person is like, yo, I want to buy a house, but I'm not ready to buy a house. Okay, well, you're not ready for the house. I'm ready for the house. What do you want to bring to this table? You may not be ready, but my goal is to get this house. So what are you going to bring to it? Are you going to bring the money? Are you going to bring the design? Are you going to bring something to this? I want is, you may not know it now, but this is probably what you're going to want sooner or later. That's just those just my thoughts of like having people in your corner or having friends in relationships, that are going to elevate you.
Well, like we said with the Final Fantasy reference, even when you have people in your party who are at a higher level, and then you have that one person, like, I'll take Final Fantasy VII. Even when you're trying to level up those weaker characters, it's not like you're going against that boss, by yourself. You got two other members in your party who are also fighting the same battle as you. So, it's not like, in terms of relationships, you can be with someone who, if they want to level up, you can help them level up. But if they don't want to do it, there's no hope. I had a friend I went to school with. Me and Will actually went to school with. I won't say the brother's name, but he grew up in the projects. Grew up with some guys who weren't doing the right things in life, gang banging and stuff like that. So that's what he was used to in high school. Eventually went to college, went on to write books, went on to get, advanced degrees, comes back home to visit, his friends are doing the same thing. And he's like, yo, like, I'm not there with you anymore. You were cool, back in like high school, stuff like that. The 50 Cent line, damn, homie, in high school, you was the man, homie, it's just the fuck up into you. So, the same thing where it's like, we were cool at a certain time, but now I've leveled up. You have not, and I'm just not there with you anymore. So we can't really chill. So sometimes, you have a person who's like, oh, you think you're better than us or something like that? Like, we used to be cool back in the day. We used to do this back in the day. We used to do everything back in the day, which I think we've all heard. But it's like, hey, things change, times change. I'm trying to level up every day. If you're not trying to do that, then we really have nothing further to speak about, unfortunately. So I think, with the company you keep, I have friends that I've grown up with, and they've grown at a similar pace to where I've grown. So we still, are friends. We still have things to talk about. But I also have friends who just are not there with me anymore. They're just not, and they're not looking to be. So it hurts. It sucks. But at the end of the day, being high value is so important to me. Being my purpose is so important to me that I'm willing to drop people as a result. And that might sound harsh. but that's the reality of it. I'm trying to go to a certain level in life. If you are not able to keep up, then I gotta leave you in the dust. That's pretty much it.
And I like that Final Fantasy analogy. You know, we're fighting the same boss, and you know, you got people who are at your level fighting the same battle and stuff. If you need help, you know, if your HP is low, I'll toss you a potion, high potion. If you're poisoned, I'll toss you an antidote, you know. But if you're dead, I'll toss you a phoenix down and everything. But one thing I can't do is raise your level for you. You know, you have to do that yourself. You have to do the grinding for yourself, you know, along with me. And yeah, as far as leaving people behind, like you can say, like, yeah, I mean, back when we were in the Shinra building, Final Fantasy VII, back when we were in the Shinra building, you know, we were kicking ass and all that stuff. But yeah, but now we're in the Northern Crater, you know, where the last boss is, Sephiroth. You know, I'm at a level. What's your level? 28? How are you level 28? We're at the final level. What the hell have you been doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
Or just riding the coattail.
Mm-hmm. And also speaking on that, like, what if you play this game all the way through, and then you reach an obstacle, and you just stop because something is too hard. You just stop. You immediately halt your advance. Like, oh my God, that sounds complicated. I'm just gonna not finish.
Mm-hmm.
What if you made this whole journey, leveling up, doing this and that, and for some reason you find an obstacle toward the very end. At the other side of this obstacle is potential victory. You stop. I've reached the wall.
Gotta get that Knights of the Round, baby.
That's why it kind of goes back to the sink or swim mentality. You know what I mean? That sink or swim. You're at the bridge. You got to destroy the bridge. You only go forward. You have no other option. So that strategy is helpful when it comes to those situations.
Mm-hmm. But there's some people, sadly, out there that will stop, that will not even try. I won't even attempt it because it's too much time, too much effort, and I may fail.
Yep. I mean, with that, you know, all you can hope is you just can't sit there and let them hold you back. Mm-hmm. You know, don't stop. If you work out every day and the person that wants to quote unquote lose weight, they don't want to work out. You can't stop your workout because then you're going to be in the same position as them. So, you know, hey, you coming? Oh, no, I got this. Sorry. I'm going on my own, and you keep your progression. You know, that's like you said, the sink or swim. You got to burn that bridge. I cannot mess with you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll help you, but you cannot stop me. You cannot stop me.
Right. I mean, I would have to see you actively trying to help yourself, you know, before I could help you. You know, if you're trying to help yourself and you're having trouble, I'm there as your support, not as your supplement. You know, I'm not gonna do it for you and everything because before long you're helping them more than you're helping yourself. Like I think Denzel said that in that graduation speech he made. Like the worst thing you could do is help another person on your way to achieving your goal.
Oh, okay. I was like, dang, Denzel's harsh.
That's cold-blooded.
Denzel, man.
He just said, what?
All right.
Don't help nobody.
All right. Okay. No, hey, man. All right. Okay. don't be helping them, man. You gotta help yourself. All right. You ain't gonna help. I ain't gonna stop what I'm doing to help you out. That's my worst. That's my worst impression.
It's the morning impression. Don't worry, we got
my morning impression. But yeah, I mean, this is like. I mean, you gotta, and you know what? Like, I look at the stats at Anchor. You know, like, you know, I know a lot of you guys. You know, they look at this. They watching this episode as much as they're watching the episodes with the girls and everything and all that stuff. But you know, we like girls. We love girls. We love women. But this is important too. All right. This is actually helps you with the women. right? Better yourself, make yourself high value, makes you more attractive, makes you more appealing, and they'll want to come flock to you because they want to be part of your success. You seem like a successful guy. You dress successfully, you're fit and everything. You look like you got it going on. I want to be a part of that.
Because they're a byproduct of being.
Yeah, they're byproducts. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a few thoughts on that.
Viewership. Like this episode, these episodes versus the ones that had girls in it and everything, they were very high in there. They're like, oh yeah, girls. But you got to be, it's more to it than that, all right? You can't make your life goal these females. Believe me, I've been there. I've made my personal goal to get with a girl way back eons ago in the dinosaur age. I made my goal to be with girls because I base my whole self-value and worth on the validation of these chicks. And look where it got me. It got me to depressive states. It got me to losing money, losing my time, wasting my time. Not to say that I don't want chicks or anything like that. I love women and everything. But I'm the one that got to deal with me. All right? I'm the one that's got to look myself in the mirror and be like, do I like what I see? Do I see my own value? You know? Like, do I wake up in the morning and say, damn, I'm glad to be me? Can people say that? Wake up in the morning, you know?
Of course.
Despite the fact that I look like shit in the morning, I'm glad I'm me.
If you don't say that every day, then you
mean that shit. Like, because if you look at yourself and everything, like, damn. I mean, not that you don't, you couldn't use improvement here and there, but overall, am I satisfied with who I am, or am I happy with who I am up until this point?
That's progression.
Yeah,
you can say you're happy with. I mean, even though sometimes you're not going to be happy with everything that you got going on, but
because some people wake up and say like, "Damn, man, why couldn't I be somebody else, man? I'm looking at pictures of Will Smith and this person, that. Why could I look like them and everything, But hey, if you improve yourself, if you lost a little bit of the weight, if you've shaped yourself up a little bit better, you stand tall, whatever. Let's say you didn't end up looking better than these people you admire. We're not talking about just physical. We're talking about internal too.
Well, we didn't forget about you, Will. Go ahead. I don't want to lose your two thoughts.
Yeah, so I can give you personal experience and then like experience that I observe with other women that I've, so it gives some of you guys some hope, like your viewers. So personally, like, maybe like especially back in the day, like during the 90s, early 2000s, you always hear about guys like Mac and trying to holler at a chick, and you would try to spit game, right? And spitting game is probably a mix of lies, or at the very least, you're embellishing. But when you get to the point where you're successful, or quote unquote successful, or you're doing your thing, or you're actually progressing, you can just tell a woman what you do. And if you do enough things, they might be just impressed off of that. There's no game needed. And I've been in conversations with all types of people where you can see their eyes light up when you mention shit that you do, because it's abnormal. Not everyone is trying to grind, even if you're not where you want to be. Just the act of grinding is appealing and sexy to a woman. And it's not, you don't necessarily need to be the most handsome guy, but if you're successful, and I'll give you two examples. My sister-in-law used to come, and we would talk about like artists, like 50 Cent and Rick Ross. I don't consider these guys particularly handsome. No Will Smith or like Tyrese or Trey Songz good looking like chicks, but she's like, hey, I just think he's sexy. He's sexy. I was like, really? How, Sway? And then I realized it's not only the physical, it's what they do. It's what they can offer. It's like they produce music, they travel. It's all about your image, like the full concept of the individual. So Those are little things that obviously does it help if you're fit and you're a decent looking guy? Of course. But the high value has a lot of gray area in my opinion. But like things that you could do in your personal life definitely can help with you just interacting and being more confident. And when women start to get open and all you have to do is just tell them what you do, that definitely gonna build your confidence. I assure you that. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely like you don't have the same not everybody has the same type of you know, factors. You know, some people like what they like. And you know, as long as you got that criteria, you know, you can get them. You definitely can get them.
Yeah. I just find that it's kind of crazy when you start learning about that. Go on.
Yeah, like definitely when you're talking to a chick, don't lie, man. Don't lie about what you're doing and stuff, because they'll see right through it. Believe me, because when you're talking to girls pay attention to everything. They pay attention to everything of how you look, how you present yourself, your body language, especially. And they're almost like a damn CIA agent. They're just eyeballing you, like listening intently while you talk to them. And if you bullshitting, they'll see right through it, and they'll ask you questions based on what you say. And if you're like, well, I know, because believe me, I've tried bullshitting my way into girls' pants, and it was awkward. It was awkward, you know? So why not do or attempt these things that you're trying to impress these girls with? And keep in mind, it's not about impressing the girls. It's about doing it for yourself. And believe me, hey, I'll reiterate, I love the women's, all right? Slide into my DMs, ladies, all right? I'm going to put my handle at the end. Slide into them DMs. But you have to be like exactly what you're talking about, you know? Like you say, I'm trying to be a doctor. Okay. Then they'll ask you questions based on that, and you'll be able to answer them because you're trying to go for that. Oh, I'm trying to be an actor. All right. So have you tried this and that, or what have you done? I'm able to tell people what I've done based on what I'm telling what I'm trying to do. And Will's right. The act of grinding and stuff, you don't even have to be where you have to be. It's the fact that you're doing something extraordinary. You're not being mediocre. They like that. You know? You don't want to say, because the number one thing they ask you on dates, what's the number one thing girls ask you on dates?
What do you do?
What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're men, we're supposed to be action oriented. We're people of action. We do stuff. What do you do? You know?
I test that all the time. I tell them anything.
But see, you tell them anything, is what you're telling them truthful?
No, I told you. I tell them anything.
You tell them anything. All right. That's the number one problem. They're going to see through that. You're going to find someone. You're going to find the right one day. They're going to see right through that bullshit. They're going to be like, what? What do you? Yeah, I do that. Yeah. I'm telling you. You want to tell them you're some detective or you're some forensics agent or something. They ask you a question on that shit.
I'm the Flash, man. I'm the Flash.
You know? At least half truth. At least half truth.
At least, some sort of truth into that, man.
Up and coming troops. Have
a friend that's a forensics agent or something. Ask him questions. All right, what should I say? What? You know, get a little crash course or something.
No, I don't tell them. I don't tell them nothing that's not true. It doesn't make sense. You know, it's like just tell. You know, keep it real, and everybody makes their own decision. You know, like so funny. I had this woman, and you know, we was just talking, and she was just like telling me about her life, and it was like, yeah, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm like, okay, all right, I like how you sound, you know. And the next thing, she had hit me with like, yo, can I borrow something? And I was just like, wait a minute, aren't you this super big shot, don't need nothing? And then I was, you know, I just analyzed it for the simple fact that you just told me this big thing about yourself, like you don't need anything. And then now all of a sudden it's, hey, I need something. And it was very weird to hear that, you know, not to say that, and then, stuff. Everybody needs something when you need it, you know. But it was very weird to hear it from, number one, your boyfriend, your man, anything of the sort. More like not even an associate, and just to hear you ask for something when you just told me you are independent and you're this and you're that, it just kind of like, so how much BS are you really telling me? You know?
Well, girls will bullshit you, yeah, because they're coming from an emotional state, but they're not really expected to be people of action. I mean, it'd be nice if, they told the truth and everything like that. That's nice. But hey, if that's whatever your standard is, if I need a girl that's gonna be honest with me. If you're up there bullshitting me, you're dismissed. You're gone. Me ain't making another step.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you just accept that, but it goes against your standards, then your standards are shaky. You know, they're wavering, and that you're not fully in control of yourself. So how are you going to be in control of the situation?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Hey, you made it this far? Well, you might as well subscribe. Come on, you know you want to.
That's
I think it's a little more simple than that too. I remember I spoke to an OG while traveling one time, and again, he was an unofficial mentor because he was putting me on the game. I'm learning game from everyone. And I said, why does this chick do this? And he said something so simple that you guys will agree with. He said, she did that because you allowed her to do it. If you allow someone to get away with something, they're going to keep on doing it. If society allows women to, what I call double dip, they believe in traditional men when it's convenient to take care of them, but they want to be a strong and independent woman and not be submissive to a man. And again, I'm not saying a woman's an indentured servant, you know, but like at the same time, you're a team where the guy might be the lead. And I don't even need to have a rigid viewpoint of that. Like it could be like 60-40, 55-45, 70-30. But if that woman, if I'm providing more financial support, she better be more of like a support role for me. Maybe she's working part-time. She's kind of doing homework, like a homemaker kind of a role in the house, raising kids, you know, so it doesn't have to be absolute. I don't believe in absolute. At least I try not to, at least not many. But the point is, they get away with what we allow them to do, whether in relationship, whether it's society, and a lot of people are not held accountable for their actions. I'm dropping the mic on that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Clap to that one. That's
because what I've learned.
Thank you.
What I've learned, and he's absolutely right. Because what I've learned is that girls will shit test the shit out of you if they doubt your masculinity. Especially if they're a feminine woman. If they're a real feminine woman, because I go for feminine women. I don't go for the masculine chicks that are loud, ratchet. I don't need to go into it. But I go for the feminine women, all right, who are going to be submissive, supportive, and nice. So, but even the nicest woman is going to shit test you if they see your masculinity wavering. If they see you're a little, you know, unsure, wishy-washy, whatever, passive. Because they want you to make decisions. They want you to have a standard that, no, this is not the way it's going to go. It's going to go this way. You know, I'm not going to accept you being dishonest or just walking all over me like that. I'm not going to accept that shit. If that's going to be the case, you can hit the road. And be okay with that.
Yep.
Because you're such high value, you're okay with being by yourself. I'd rather be by myself than be in a situation where I'm not happy along with a person who's not being the way that I envision them to be. All right? Because if I want a certain woman, I want them to be exactly what I'm looking for. Physical, mental, whatever. I want them to be the exact way that I want them to be. And I can control the situation that way, you know? Because a lot of women will conform. They will conform, yeah, without compromising themselves. They'll conform. They'll be like, hey, okay, I'm down with it. I'll be honest. I'll be nice. I'll be feminine. I'll be all this stuff where you want me to be, as long as you're masculine, as long as you provide me safety. You know? Now, I don't go for the ones who are conditionally feminine, because there's a lot of those that are conditionally feminine. Well, I'm only feminine for the man who's going to be masculine. No, you're either feminine or you're not. All right? Because if you're conditionally feminine, that means that masculinity will come out at a certain point. Now I don't want that. But despite that, men have to maintain their masculinity. Men have to maintain the control, the leadership. That's what they got to maintain. And that's what all this high value stuff's going to tie into. If you're a high value male, the way you lead yourself in life is the way you're going to lead a family. Remember, last week I used the analogy that you're the captain of the ship. You're Captain Picard or Captain Kirk or whatever. You're in command. Kirk was never like, oh, Spock, can you handle this? I can't do it. No, man. He took that bull by the horns, man. Sometimes he went overboard. And they had to say, no, Captain, control yourself, man. You got to let us do something. You know, like every captain I see on that show, in a way, has sacrificed themselves or willing to sacrifice themselves for their crew. That's showing leadership, in my view. And they always come to them. If they needed mentorship, they needed advice on something, who'd they go to? Other than the ship's counselor. They went to the captain to check with him. This is because he's leading this charge. Not only because of rank, but they trust him. They trust it. There are many times where, you know, they had to forget rank and stuff, but they still entrusted him to lead them. And they took him for his word. If he made a command, they usually just follow it without question. Not because he's a leader, but they trust him. They trust him to be the leader. So that's how you have to be in your family dynamic or your relationship. And that person will follow if they're feminine, if they're not challenging you constantly. You don't want, and that's not what I want. I do not want a person who's challenging me every step of the way. They can be dismissed.
Yeah,
I got a quick question for you guys. I'm sorry, Ron, go on though.
No, I'm good.
So I was gonna ask you because it seems like a lot of you guys know what you want. All of us have an idea what the model woman would be, but at the same time, I feel like you need to have some flexibility. Maybe you get 90% of what you want, and there's some deal breakers for you guys. So, like, could we go around the round table and figure out what you guys consider as deal breakers? Like, you just can't rock with at all in terms of a woman. Like, she can have most of what you want, but what are things you can't accept?
Go ahead, Matt. You already start talking.
Oh man, how much time we got in this podcast episode?
Oh my God,
Unlimited.
Yeah, let's keep it simple, bro.
No black girl. No, just
There you go. You're gonna get an army. Find where you live. You got some pictures and fire torches.
This is the last episode of Straight Up Ish.
No. Wait.
Ronnie P signing out because
you don't mention that without reasoning behind it. All right. You just throw out no black girls or whatever. There's reasoning behind it though.
All right, go ahead. Go with what your deal breakers are.
No masculine females. And unfortunately, in my experiences have been mostly African-American females. But it's not really the complexion, it's the culture.
The culture, yeah.
That's the thing. So I can have a female who's white, but she acts, quote unquote, ghetto or masculine. Or I could have a female who's, African American, but she doesn't act in that manner. So for me, and again, I've been with women who are masculine. It doesn't work out well for me. So I want someone who's a little more feminine, but also who's coachable, who can adapt, who's open-minded. Not, hey, this is what I do. I've been doing this for years. I'm not changing. I don't need that. I'm looking to do big things in this world, big things in my life. So I need someone who really can jump on board with my program. Now, yeah, I would love it, if they were educated as well. I think, I used to say in the past, they've got to have at least a bachelor's degree and master's and this and that. I've kind of scrapped that, to be honest, because I think you could be a high value woman and just have a high school diploma, to be honest. So the amount of degrees don't really mean a damn thing to me. Have some sort of thing that you're passionate about. I'm not saying you have to be doctor, lawyer status, anything crazy like that, but have something that you're passionate about. But also, at this point in my life, what does is family important to you? Are you looking to have kids? Because if I want kids, if you don't want kids, that's a deal breaker for me. Besides other things, if you do drugs, if you smoke cigarettes, boom. But really my thing is, what do you stand for? And I think that also encompasses what we're talking about with being on your purpose. Being on your purpose is, what do you really stand for? How do you look at life? What is it that you're looking for? What type of life are you looking to build? How do you complement my life? And can we build a life together? That's basically what I'm looking for. So, like attracts like. I need someone who is as reflective as I am, or at least close. But it's mostly what I'm learning now is the culture. What type of culture have you been raised in? What type of culture do you embody now? I've tried to be with women who were brought up in different cultures, and it's a challenge. It is a challenge, and unfortunately, I've wasted time, money, effort, emotions on people like that, and for me, it's more detrimental than anything else. So now I've learned that really is a deal breaker for me. So I know I said black, but I really joking around when I said that. It's really that that whole. It's really that masculine.
It doesn't matter to them.
What?
No, I said it doesn't matter to them. You said it. It's done. You're a villain.
I know.
They're gonna find you.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got get that bag over your head.
I gotta look behind my back now. But yeah, that masculine stuff, I just can't go for that.
I agree with the masculine part. Yeah, that's definitely true. I think everyone could agree on that. That's the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the masculine thing goes without saying. Also, no single mothers. No.
Oh no.
The only that's the ultimate deal breaker for me.
No.
The only kids I want are the ones coming out of me and the twins. All right, those are the only kids I want. The only ones that come out of me and the twins. All right. And I agree with Matt as far as I can see where he's coming from with the African American community. And I will not say it's all, because I still seek out girls in that community. And in fact, I mentioned ad nauseum, there's one chick I met on set who basically hit all points. He's nice, feminine, body is like pow. I won't mention names to protect the innocent, but yeah, she was ideal. She was feminine. She was nice. She was like wife material, like someone who's gonna be a wife to me, who's gonna be offer that support. Like basically, I can sense there's something wrong. You're struggling with something, someone who's open-minded, someone who's adventurous, not closed-minded. Just be a wife, be feminine, be nice, be a support beacon. Don't be a challenge all the time. Take care of yourself, physically, mentally, and I will provide. I will provide. You do all this stuff, I will provide. It's basically, it's not really 50-50. It's more like you bring this, I bring that. I don't believe 50-50 because we're different. It can't be 50-50. It's not like, oh, well, I lift this couch, you lift the other side of the couch. I can't expect you to do that. If you do it, amazing. But it'll never be 50-50, ever, because we're too different, Masculine, feminine, it's different. It's been different for ages, Someone's going to be a good wife, good mother, has a set of values themselves. If you have certain goals for yourself, nice. I mean, as long as it doesn't really interfere with what's going on, what's going on in the family dynamic, because it starts there. You need that refuge, because you're dealing with the outside world every day on a daily basis, and they're going to be poked at, and you're going to be beaten down and stuff. You need to come home. The last thing I want to come home to is a person who's going to be complaintive, going to be nagging or whatever. Nobody wants that shit. So that's the type of woman I look for. Doesn't necessarily have to be white, doesn't have to be black, doesn't have to be Spanish. It's really that culture, like Matt said, that culture of like, hey, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man. No, I don't have time for that shit. I don't. I really don't. Look at my nails. Oh, I bring that wop.
Uh-oh.
I don't need that shit. I don't need that. No, I don't need, I mean, it's nice. It's a nice wop, but I don't need that. It's not, it's not a requirement. You know what I mean? I'd rather you have a desert P word than deal with a freaking complaintive, combative woman that has a wop. All right. Hope I signed my own.
I gotta test that theory though. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So what is your like top 3 most attractive women in the world? Just name any of them.
Shit.
There's a reason for this. I'll just
Who's going first?
Well, I'm not gonna reveal the one person that I know personally. Shit.
Okay, they could be famous. They could be famous. They could be like Beyonce. They could be Maya from like that.
I feel everybody says
like
Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce's nice, but everybody says Beyonce.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
It gotta be.
Actually, for a while was after that.
It doesn't be, but it's just for anonymity. Anonymity. You don't want to expose anyone.
Yeah, and I mean, I could show you guys when the thing is over, but that one chick from that plays Storm in the new X-Men.
So I just wanted to use like we'll make Kelly Rowland one of them. Give me some 2 more.
I'm bad with names. Let me see.
Is that?
I'm gonna look up my thing.
All right.
I saved them.
All right.
You go on, Ron. I'm gonna look for these. People.
I don't have top 3. Dang.
It could be one chick. It's one female that maybe when you were growing up that you thought was like the fine. For me, it used to be Halle Berry back like in the 90s, early 2000s. Like she still looks good for her age.
I like move on to chicks, man. I move back and forth. I'm a freaking hoe, man. Let's see, because for one time it was Marissa Tomei, and another time it was Sandra Bullock, and another time it was Gina from Martin. Then it was that chick from Thin Line Between Love and Hate. What was her name?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. Okay, this is a good one. Megan Good.
Megan Good.
She's pretty solid.
She's still good. How's she look now? I haven't seen her in a while.
She has that mature look. I think she just turned 40.
Lauren London.
Laura London.
Oh, okay. That's your top. That's one of your top girls right now, like Laura London.
I wouldn't say top, but damn, like I see, I'm greedy, man. I want all of them.
All right, so we got an idea. We're talking about women that are 8, 9, whatever, right? So that has left already.
Okay, so Matt,
all right.
And they're all
you can't go wrong with those.
Oh wait,
you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I showed you that.
I got nothing against that.
Savannah Perez, I showed you that chick. She was a fitness chick. Sarah J. Yeah, everybody likes Sarah J. I didn't know we could put porn stars.
Sarah J.
All right, so this is part 2. So you know how we said, guys generally say that you don't want a woman with kids. But let's just say any of these women approached you, and all of them had kids. It's like, hey, they gave you 90 to 95% of what you wanted. They were submissive. They were supportive. They even gave you financial support to accelerate your business. And they had a kid, but the kid is not living with you all the time. Maybe they show up on the weekends. They show up 3 times a week. Would you walk away considering that you're getting this support emotionally and financially, and then they don't come with that negative culture, would you walk away from that strictly off the fact that they have a child?
Me personally, no.
I would confidently say yeah, I would, because, and I'll tell you why. Back in the day, I would say, it's not so bad as long as the kid's like 3 years old or lower. But I know for a fact that the pattern I see with single mothers is that they're willing to do and say anything to get that security they get from you, that masculine security. They'll work their ass, they'll work themselves out looking good and stuff. They'll say, oh, he won't be here like for like only, a week a day and a week at a time. But after a while, that shit will change. It's guaranteed to change, because once they got you, once you sign that certificate or whatever, that will change. Stuff will change. Stuff will be modified. And then more will be expected of you to take care of this kid that's from another man. It would be different if I already had kids of my own. Then my rules kind of change.
True.
I'm speaking from a standpoint that I'm a single person with no kids right now. But if I were a kid, if I had kids of my own and I was separated and everything, then that rule would be modified. Then I'd be more accepting of someone else and their kid. Not to mention, I don't know what type of drama she has with this other man or whatever, if any. And that's something that I don't want to deal with personally. Even though I'm not dealing with it personally, it's still involved in my life. It's still adding more drama or whatever to what I'm doing. And I'm trying to pursue something, I need a lot of concentration on that, and not so much the drama that comes along with having a single mother. So it's not just particularly
those are valid points.
Yeah. And so it's basically, even though you're attractive and everything, you bring all this stuff, which is good, it's fine. Those are things that I think should be required out of a woman that you're trying to get with. The femininity, all that stuff. That is stuff that's required. That's expected. It's just like women expect a man to provide, to protect, and to provide safety and all that stuff. It's expected. What's not expected is to have a kid. To me, is to have a kid that you're bringing in, because you're bringing in not only the kid, you're bringing in the baggage that comes along with it. So you're bringing like all these bags. Boom. All right, here they are. And it's still going to deal with, we'll still be dealing with that for 18 plus years.
You're right.
And the reason why I brought this argument up is because
some idiot has their alarm on.
People that you're in your dating pool. Yeah, it sounds like a car or something in the background. But anyway, it's very common. Yeah, it's very common for people in our like dating pool. You say like maybe from 20 to 40, whatever you want to call it. Very common for women to have one child. Mm-hmm. I don't know the exact percentage, but when you meet, especially the more attractive ones, and you're like, damn, like you don't. And you look at the pool and you think maybe around 20 to 20, let's say 25. A lot of them have kids, and I think it's a full person concept. Like it wouldn't be my first choice, but it depends on what they're bringing to the table.
Right.
It really depends.
That's why guys of a certain status, a certain financial status, certain just status in general, they will go for the much younger chicks who haven't had kids yet, because they're providing that youthful presence. They're more susceptible to be mentored by you. They won't necessarily provide that wife status, depends. But for the most part, they have an abundance mindset. So they're saying like, well, I'll have this chick for this person for this, and I'll have this chick for that. Not to say you're necessarily going to do that, but they have those options. And some men will act on those options. So they'll be finessing chicks here, they'll have chicks here, chicks there, right? So a person like on that position is not going to go for a single 35-year-old, 20-year-old parent that's just going to bring their kid and all this baggage and stuff and everything. They're not going to have time for that. They're not going to deal with that if they have the abundance mindset. They'll maybe go for like a more average guy who doesn't have as much as an abundance mindset. They'll probably go for that. They'll probably go for that. I myself, speaking for myself, will not go for a single mother, not for a relationship. Maybe for a quick beat.
Yeah.
But
well, like dating is different. Like to be long term. I definitely agree. But one other problem I actually thought about your kind of approach with a younger woman. One of the things I discovered that could be a potential problem is the culture of younger people and the mindset with like social media and worrying about things that aren't really relevant that you can't build with. So here's that's the conundrum. Mm-hmm. You deal with the older person that might have similar values to you but has baggage, or you could go with a younger person that's not fully mature. So you're kind of like my approach is like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, Robert Greene. One of the laws that I love is commit to nothing. Pretend you're gonna commit, but like have one foot out, one foot in, so you can always pivot. So that's kind of where my mindset is. Like you date a few people, you have good experiences, you let them know what you're looking for. But I've realized that you might have to compromise on something, because a younger woman, let's be honest, like a teenage girl is not going to be learning the same thing like a woman that was like 17 years ago, 17. Like she's like 30, 34, maybe she learned certain skills that a 17-year-old, 20-year-old, 25-year-old, whatever age is not learning, and they're not going to be developed, and they might not be as coachable. So that's something to be aware of.
Yeah.
Not to necessarily find a wife or anything. The point is like developing yourself so women search you out. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a lot easier, going back to the purpose.
Right. I mean, it's definitely no black and white to it. You just definitely have to approach it from a surgical standpoint, because most of the high value,
it's crazy.
High value women won't be.
It really is crazy. Like
immediately visible. Like the people that are in need, the women that are in need, like the single mothers and everything, they're gonna put themselves out there. They're gonna be most visible, and in higher number. And the thing is, like, you basically have to be strong in your mindset and everything. Like say like, hey, this is my one deal breaker that I'm not willing to go back on. And if it ends up me being by myself, so be it. I'll just date around and all that stuff. And I mean, whatever. Until it just depends on what your standards are. You just because if you sacrifice under one deal breaker, then what else are you going to sacrifice? Like what else are you going to go back on? Because that leaves a insecurity in yourself. And then if you're insecure, your woman's going to be insecure. Okay, he's shakeable. He's not gonna. So I doubt his math. They're gonna be in a state of doubt, and that's not what you want them to be. Like if I say I don't want women with kids, I mean that shit. Like I don't want that. I don't want them to. I don't want to deal with anybody else's kid. I want to deal with. I don't care how fat the ass is. All right, like guys, I want. And when I say younger, I don't mean like 18, just coming out of high school and all that stuff. But I mean like, younger from my standpoint would probably be like 25 or 28 or something like that, And they are out there.
Okay.
Like the ones that are like closer to 30, whatever. I don't know. I just do it from a ratio of like how old I am, and then I just go maybe 10 years back or something. But, yeah, like it's like you just have to. You really have to approach it from like a surgical standpoint, like a case by case sort of thing. I don't make a whole generalization about whatever. Like I'm pretty sure there are some women with kids out there that are doing very well and stuff, that have a guy who's willing to like just stay with them and everything, be like that. I'm not criticizing them. That's just not for me, And I don't think it makes the guy less masculine. I'm saying that that's not my standard. Their standard is different from my standard. Ron's standard is different from mine. Matt's standard is different from mine. So
girls with kids.
Like Ron, like I say, like, you can't lie to girls when you're talking to them. And Ron says like, yeah, you should lie, whatever. But it's different standards,
He was joking for the record.
Yeah. Like exactly. I really was joking. Joking. I like, I'm a little different than everybody else. I like girls. I don't really care if you're you have kids or you don't have kids. I mean, there's a big difference. The difference I have is, my child, I have a child. So it's for me to date a girl that has kids. It's like, who don't have kids nowadays at the age that you are? And if you don't, you're rare. You're super rare. So I don't have a problem dating people with kids. It's just, it's about the time. Do you have enough time to balance being in a relationship and your kids? If you don't, then obviously I'm not the one for you, because
that's a great point. Big facts.
That's it. It's not, oh, you got to, I mean, and for taking over, I mean, other people kids is, to me, is like mentorship, because you learn from different people. You're going to learn different things from different people. And what you want to be, if you do date a girl in a child's life, is a mentor, give them something to look forward to, saying, hey, the next person is not a dirtbag or looking to, be my new stepdaddy, walk in the house and start kicking in stuff. You want to be like, oh, that's cool peoples. I know him. He raised me, he took care of me, or whatever, or she took care of me. And that's it. It doesn't have to be this humongous, they raised, I gotta call them dad. I gotta call her mom. I gotta do this. I gotta, be really nice to them. Hey, how you doing? What's good? And just keep on moving sometimes. I don't have a problem with that. I never, also, my breaks, the things that break, deal breakers, closed-minded women. Don't like them closed-minded. Can't stand them closed-minded. I want to be able to say one day, hey, I want to go and take a bath in a mud pit. And they're like, let's do this. Or we go to a rave. I've never been to a rave, or at least I don't think so. But if I wanted to, I want to have that same type of person. A leader. Got to be a leader. Doesn't have to be always in a leadership role, but just has to know how to lead when possible. Gotta be
for you,
huh?
For her, or
for
you?
me.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
These are my deal breakers. If she ain't leading, if she's not a leader, I can't deal. I don't want you waiting for me to do everything. I don't want to find everything.
But if you have two chiefs in the tribe, who's following?
That's called partnership. Partnership is when it's like, I don't want to lead today. You got the idea. Let's go with your idea and I'll help out and support. That's a partnership. A lead, I don't want the leader to be like every day. It's like, we're going where I go. I want you to be a leader, but you don't have to always, you have to have ideas. That's what I like. I want you to have ideas. I want you to be able to say something, I want to go to California. Okay, let's do this. Let's plan this out. And instead of it being like, hey, I'm thinking about going here, but where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And leaving it up to always the man to either think and be this trust, communicative. So I like somebody to be somewhat of a leader. Got to be fashionable. She's not fashionable, I can't do it. And I mean, like, not Gucci or Prada and Fendi and all that, but just look good when she goes outside. Those are things that I like. And can't smoke. That's a deal breaker. I'm like, all of y'all can't smoke. And if she ain't willing to struggle with you, that's a deal breaker. And if she doesn't want you at your lowest, she definitely can't be with you at your highest. So, and I'm with that. Oh, one more thing. I got girls I like. Where's my scam? This chick right here. Look at this.
Brianna Moore. Yeah, I know who she
is. Yeah. That's one of my tops. Hold on. One more. I got her. And this other one. This one. You know who if y'all don't know who that is.
Oh yeah, Demetria Oblar, whatever her name is.
Yes.
In Dallas, the weather girl. Yeah.
Yes.
You're on the gram, I see.
I'm on the gram, and I got one more.
I see him liking like all these these girls I'm discovering on. I'm like top shelf. Ron's been there and all that stuff.
That's right. I'm
like damn, Ron, scouring.
I'm not in their DMs though. I'm just giving them love. You know what I mean?
And I got one DMs, more. Be like, yo.
I think I should be in the.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're in that situation, and they approach you and they come with some baggage, and you see them in face to face, I'm telling you, man, you might be switching up the strategy quick.
Come on.
Even if they're short term. Even if they're short term, I'm telling you.
Exactly. You telling me they wouldn't walk up and they got 3 other kids coming behind them and they say, "Hey, you want to roll with me for a couple of months?" I'm there. I'll be right there. I may not be for the long.
As long as the time issue, right? As long as you have the time with her, because it does get annoying when a woman has kids and say, "Oh, we have a date planned," and instead of you meeting for the date, there's some excuse where, "Oh, I couldn't find a babysitter." Mm-hmm. But we planned this like a week ago. Then I agree. That's one of the main reasons why you don't want to deal with it. But if that is not an issue for the most part, and that's a few and far between, and it's not their relationship with their kids and their baby daddy is not interfering really much with your relationship, it's more reasonable. But if that's a factor, like if you're canceling dates all the time and you can hear crying in the background and you can't have time to actually date her and you're dealing with as a babysitter, that's a no-go.
Right.
It should be like a case by case, in my opinion. I agree.
It's definitely a case by case. I feel case by case because I like girls. Sometimes I'm cool with a single woman. Sometimes I'm all over the place. So I have moments where I want to be smothered, and there's times I don't even want to know you. So sometimes single women give you women with kids and single women. Sometimes you just got to feel them out and see which one's going to give you what you need.
I got a question for you. This is going back to the leadership thing. Sometimes she takes, sometimes you take it. Like who would determine like, yeah, I know, thank you. Who would determine like who leads what?
Who leads?
What are you talking about? Like when sometimes I lead, sometimes she leads. What are you talking about?
So I mean, for me, it could mean in any type of event. Like, we all don't have the answers to everything, and everybody's different in what they like. So if like I was saying, on a trip, like let's say she wants to go to California, but I'm the one with the money. So if I say, "Hey, okay, California sounds like a really good idea," she just led on putting us where we need to go. Like that's the destination. Now, maybe I'm going to give my part in this as maybe I'll fund it, or maybe I'll start the itinerary, so that the lead part is done. She chose where we're going, but at the end of the day, I plan the itinerary. So, as a leader, she's choosing certain things. I don't want it to be like, I don't want anybody thinking like a lead as in this person is just leading your life. Wherever you go is what you're going to be dealing with. You're just along for the ride if that's the case. Not that type of leadership.
So you're looking for a more masculine woman?
No, masculine is when masculine.
The leadership is masculine. Femininity is following.
Well, feminine to me. Feminine is being a female, looking good, feeling good, getting hair, nails. That's leadership to me, is when you're able to know what you want and you're willing to go and do what you have to do for it. Do what you got to do to be a leader. Like people look up to you and say, "Hey, I can follow this person because they're going to show me the right direction on where to go." That's to me is not masculine. Masculine is more like, I am strong. I can lift. I can do this. I can do that. And I'm going to punch you in the face. That's some masculine type of, I don't need a woman that's gonna go out. I walk outside and she wants to punch everybody in the face, or she just wants to yell. I need you to be.
You just the punching in the face. You describe the dark parts of being masculine. There's dark parts of being feminine. Feminine be like over emotional and stuff. That's the dark parts of being feminine. Feminine is being submissive. You with the looking good and stuff. You just describe the physical attributes of being feminine. But I mean, like in relationships, there has to be polarity. So there's a masculine energy and a feminine energy. If there's a masculine energy, there's always a struggle. So let's say she says she wants to go to California and you capitulate and said, okay, I'll pay for it. You just showed feminine energy. So
yeah, I showed a partnership.
So
not a masculine
that's feminine energy is to submit. It's to submit to the person who's telling you what. What I'm saying is with the masculine energy, there's always going to be a struggle. So you're going to reach a point where there's going to be a disagreement and someone's going to have to yield.
Right. You can't agree with everything that somebody says.
But there'll probably always constantly be a disagreement. Because they're saying, no, it's a partnership. I'm leading this time. No, I'm leading this time. No, I'm leading this time. That day will come several times throughout the relationship. You know what I mean? Where'd he go? Okay.
Nah, sorry, my battery, my battery was so low. So yeah. So like,
guys, I wanted to interject a little bit right before you guys go back into that. Think about yin and yang, right? And if you look at the symbol, it's basically half and half. Mm-hmm. You notice how there's a little bit of black in the white, and then vice versa. So like a part of us is feminine, but we're dominantly masculine, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So as long as you're not dominated by your opposite, you have a little bit of it. It's manageable, because sometimes it's nice to have a woman that's assertive, where she could stand up for herself with other people, or she can give you an opinion that might be contributing to the overall goal. That's something you didn't think about, but they do it in a feminine way. Like they was thinking, well, this is not the best route that we're taking, but I have an alternative that might be better for both of us.
Right.
So it's all about that balance, that yin and yang,
Right. Yeah.
So when I say there's a masculine, like it's still a partnership when you have masculine and feminine. When there's one person taking the lead predominantly. I don't mean because I think when I say that, people think like, oh, this guy's just taking her by the hand, just dragging her along and stuff. That's not what that is. It's basically you're doing what's expected of the man. The man is expected to make sure the lights are on and all that stuff and all that other good stuff. The female is expected to be a wife, to be supportive and everything, and take care of the kids and all that stuff. And she could probably take the lead in that. But if we're like making decisions and stuff and like where we're going, as a family and stuff, generally the man does take the masculine role and just takes the lead in that. The woman may suggest stuff like, yeah, why don't we go here? I'd like to do this and this and that. But it's not just the man saying, okay, I'll just take my wallet out and just go there. It's just, there has to be a polarity there. Whether it's a heterosexual relationship, whether it's a homosexual relationship, there's always a polarity. One is more dominant than the other.
Well, I agree.
It's on equal terms. There's always going to be at some point there's going to be butting of heads.
That's true. But I think also the qualities of a leader is also knowing leader, captain is also knowing your crew well.
Yeah.
So it's knowing your wife well. I think also, being a leader is knowing that, okay, my wife is also going to want to be heard as well. Mm-hmm. So it's not to say we're a leader, you're just going to bully her all the time and I make all the decisions. No, it's my way or the highway. I know, so that's why I agree with what you're saying. I think sometimes, like Will said, you need to have some sort of balance. Mm-hmm. So it's not where she's like, well, hey, I want to go to this restaurant to eat dinner tonight. Well, no, I'm the leader, so we're going to do what I want to do. So, that's what I think some people, when they hear leader, like we said, we may want a woman who is a stewardess and not a co-pilot. Both, pilot and stewardess, equally important roles, but they're different in the same way. So, no, you might not be looking for a co-pilot. So I think that, in terms of leadership, you do have to know your wife as well. You do have to know, your kids or other members that are part of your household as well. And to know where, okay, it's not, I think you yield to a certain extent. Again, it's not where I have to make every single decision and you make zero decisions at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we're going to live our life. Because there are also times when it's like, hey, I may be the leader, but I don't know everything. So, if I go to my wife and say, hey, I've kind of been thinking about this, and I ask for her opinion, am I still a leader, or am I giving leadership to her? It's that was my question, because you still want, for me, I still want a wife who will say, well, hey man, I see you're trying to achieve this goal. Have you thought about doing this? I don't want to say, shut up, bitch. Like, I'm the leader. Like, I don't listen to what you have to say. Or, I say, you know what? Like, yeah, it's a good idea. Like, I agree. I haven't tried that. Let me try that. So I think that's the part of being like a leader, is kind of knowing, your crew, knowing your household.
Yeah. It's not like it's the leadership where, I don't know if you've seen this image, like between a leader, difference between being a leader and a boss. So a boss is going to be standing on the thing, whipping the people pulling the chariot. And then the leader is going to be someone who's pulling the chariot along with the people. This kind of help direct, this kind of directing. We're all, it is a partnership. As Ron said, you're right about the partnership thing. But it's like, someone has to steer, someone has to steer and say, like, okay, so maybe the woman could be, hey, I'm the navigator. You said, let's go this way. All right, the person has to steer.
True, because some guys can take it overboard and go like, "Hey, I'm the leader, so hey, you only speak, and you only speak when I tell you to speak." You know that's gonna little like overboard with it. So, like I said, you have to know your wife, what makes her tick, type of thing. So ultimately, yes, I think you lead the household in the way in which you want it to go. You kind of create the culture, and your wife is the supporting cast, which is equally as important. The same thing with movies. If you have the star, you have that supporting cast, which is equally important to make the movie successful. But I think, and I kind of am still trying to learn this myself, where it's like, hey, if you're with someone, she says, hey, I want to go somewhere for the weekend. I'll say, okay, I don't want to be like, no, we only go where I want to go, where I choose to go, because I'm the leader. I'm taking care of this shit. I got this. So I think you yield to a certain extent, even though that in itself is you are still kind of leading. But yeah, I don't really want it for me to be in a relationship where I want to lead, but I don't want to make my wife seem like she has no say, like I'm her father, and like she can't breathe until I give her permission to. That's what I think is a little overboard.
Well, yeah, that's what I think of being part of a high value male is. That's why you don't engage into a relationship until you feel you're ready. Like, and if you're obviously out to be abusive, then you're not going to go bring somebody in on that, Because
also as a man, it's your job for women to feel protected in any environment that you're in as the man. Mm-hmm. So being high value, you also know that in mind too. It's like, hey, I have to also protect my wife, not only physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Like there's so many other ways that I have to protect her, so that sometimes it may be, hey, if she wants to go somewhere for dinner, okay, we can go where you want to go for dinner. It's not that serious. So I have to make every single decision every single time. Mm-hmm. So it's trying to find kind of that balance.
It is a balance, Like I kind of misunderstood when Ron said, like, I don't feel like being a leader today. So it's almost like, the woman says, hey, babe, there's a thief in the house. I don't feel like doing it. You take this one. Like it's gonna be like, what the fuck? So it's so I sort of misunderstood that. So that's why I said like there has to be somebody that's kind of takes a lead in that aspect.
In a sense, it's kind of like a balance. I mean, that's just me not saying that this applies to everybody, but just like a balance of saying, like I said, I want, if for me, it's a deal breaker to sit back and every day you have to plan every single thing. And if you say, what do you want to do? Like everybody has that meme, we all go through that meme of, hey babe, what do you want to eat? And she's like, I don't know. You choose.
But really, most of the time, the woman's is always going to say that. And then
no, I mean, not all the time, but you
something wrong.
You want that one that's like, I would like to try this place. And you're like, yes, I got you. Perfect. And that's kind of like, there's always going to be at times where we're going to be like, yo, I want to go here. I want to go there. I'm taking you here. But you want that time where you're like, cool, we have a plan. And it didn't involve me.
Mm.
Well, I think it's also knowing as a leader to be able to take in other opinions. That's showing leadership qualities too. That's also showing maturity that, hey, it's not only my opinion that matters, that I value. I also value the opinion of my wife, which is why she's my wife, because I value her opinion. So, it may be a case where, again, I don't know everything. So I may be stuck, say on my way to my purpose or some of my goals. I may kind of hit an obstacle and I'm like, man, I've looked at it from this angle, that angle. I can't figure out how to, get around it. My wife may come around and say, hey, I think you should try this. Well, shit, that's a good idea. So that's kind of where, now again, that could be more of a support type of role. But like for me, I never wanted to be a thing where it's like, hey, I'm the leader. Only my opinion matters. What I say stands. No one else's opinion matters. Which I think that's kind of going like overboard with it too. So that's why I say, yeah, it really is a balancing act. But leaders, again, like captains, they know their people, with them on the ship. They know them well. They know what makes them tick. They know what makes them happy, and how to kind of adjust their behavior to ultimately lead to a successful marriage or journey, wherever they're trying to go.
Now, sometimes that you may encounter something that may require you to take that leadership role, and the woman may not agree, because and as it goes back to what you're saying, how your partner, how the person thinks and everything, and they know in the long run to be, better for them, and then who knows, later on they can say like, you know what, you were right, thank you for doing whatever.
That's definitely where I said like closed-minded, because if you're closed-minded, for some, they're closed-minded. They don't want to hear that there's another plan that you can use. Okay, we don't agree. We don't agree on this thing. Let's try to figure out an alternate. And some people do not want to hear about an alternate. And, so you have to be open-minded. You gotta be able to see somebody else's point of view, especially when you're not happy with that situation.
Well, it's also not just, with the fact that they're closed-minded. It could be like they're just in an emotional state, because, women are emotional creatures. And sometimes we're there to bring that practicality into the situation. And you think better on your feet when you have a clear head and when you're not full of emotion. We're not like, because we make some of the worst decisions when we're emotional, when we're excitable and all that stuff. We kind of sober up and then remember, oh, maybe this is the best way to do things. Like, let's say someone cuts you off on the road. Emotion would tell me to follow that dude and beat the shit out of him. But practicality would say, is this going to affect me years from now if I just let him go? How would this be such a big deal to me in a few months? No. So it's basically just keeping that clear head. Like, that's where we as men, not that we don't, get excitable or anything like that, but most of the time we have to have that clear head. And sometimes we may have to make decisions that we may not agree with,
Because I think at the end of the day, and you guys can tell me if you agree or disagree. At the end of the day, as a man, what you want is you want peace.
Yes.
That's what you want at the end of the day.
Yes.
So, you have to try to find a woman who kind of fits that narrative as well. Because some women are more drama filled than anything else. Yeah, I mean, you really want peace.
He wants to chill, play Apex.
Violence!
When you're outside the house and you're battling these wolves in life, you got some sharks out here. When you're battling day after day, you want to come home to your woman, have peace, a meal. You don't want all this. Well, hey, you've been spending too much time on set, or you've been at the hospital for too long. And then that just adds more stress, and you just don't need that. So, please give me a little peace, please.
And you definitely want your woman to give you. You would definitely want the input of your woman and stuff, because you're battling demons inside you internally and everything. You want somebody who's gonna come up and say like, "How was your day, bit, honey?" And then they honestly want to hear how your day went.
Yeah.
And they'll see it in your voice. I've had women that saw it in me and stuff like that. You don't look like yourself and everything. What's going on? And then, I mean, and you don't do this often. You don't like spill your whole, I can't take it, but once in a while you confide in your woman and be like, hey, I'm dealing with this, dealing with that and everything. And it's good to let go sometimes. They're that emotional, receptacle at times, and that's the best thing about that's how I view a partnership. It's just like they're I mean, you'll listen to their problems obviously, but once in a while, hey, I'm there to listen to yours.
And a good woman will bring you back to yourself. She definitely will.
Right.
She will bring you right back to that level.
Group hug. Let's hug this out. Let's hug it out.
Bring it in. Bring it in. Yeah, bring it in. Bring it in.
Bro talk.
I had a couple questions for Will. I just wanted to kind of switch from relationships to more of a financial discussion.
Let's get there.
Will, I didn't know what you wanted to cover first, or you wanted to talk about what?
Cover crypto.
You want to know about it?
Crypto.
All right. So, Matt, so just a quick disclaimer here. I'm newer to crypto, but I had some good results in about a 4-month time frame. So I have some authority to talk on it to give you kind of a starting point.
Nice.
I shared a image with Matt to kind of give you a visual representation, so eventually he could share his screen.
Yeah, share the screen, man.
But what I could tell you,
no, don't say it. No, don't say it.
Yeah, wait a second, Matt. Make sure you got the image.
Take that garbage off, man.
Please.
Take that smut off the screen.
No.
How dare
don't
you?
share your screen.
How dare you?
Well, I'm assuming he cleaned it up by now.
Hopefully.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you guys know about just how the internet works. Like I'm not gonna bore you. I'm not a technical expert, but you see how there's the physical layer with like how the connections, and then the data link layer with like how Ethernet and all that. And they build the networks are built on top of that, like TCP, all this good stuff. Like anyone that has like a IT background will understand. But when it comes to crypto, there's a similar kind of image that we have here to the right. We have Ethereum, which if any of you guys know, Ethereum is the second popular, has the second highest market cap or value after Bitcoin. And you see Ethereum is the base level there. And a lot of other crypto projects or coins, how you would want to refer to it, are built on top of Ethereum. So think about like you investing into the internet back before it blew up 25 years ago, and how much money you would have made. Like, think about all the technology, how centralized it is with companies like Facebook, Google, all these platforms that are built into the internet that control this flow of like information. Think about this new, I think they call it, somebody refers to it as the internet 4.0. You know, because we went from like HTML basic, then we went to like JavaScript, then we went to level 3, which is like social media platforms. Now we have crypto, which is kind of revolutionized the way we do finance, in my opinion. So if you look at this image here, you see all these things are built. So it just gets more complicated. I'm going to focus on what I know most about, I'm more passionate about. Like anything related to Ethereum, I would look into because that's the base level protocol. Like things like Chainlink, which go into smart contracts, oracles. I'll focus on that. So imagine if Matt and I made a bet and we were like, okay, for example, if the Giants win the Super Bowl, I'm going to send him 10K. So how smart contracts work, we come into an agreement and it's immutable, which you can't be corrupted, and we put the funds up. And when the conditions are met, the Giants winning, that smart contract executes and sends the money to Matt if it were to meet that condition. If they lose, it will come to me. You don't need to deal with any Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, no middle management. You know, it's just peer-to-peer lending or peer-to-peer transactions, which I find very fascinating. So when I look for crypto to put money in, I look for something that has like a real-world application. How can this technology revolutionize banking the next 5, 10, 15 years? How cheap is it now? Where's the market cap? What do centralized banks do now that maybe decentralized crypto can? You know, so I look at those kind of things. So Ethereum is the name. I would look into Chainlink. I'm not your financial advisor, just disclaimer. I'm just giving you education. But I'm just, just to give you a little bit. So that's kind of one aspect of it. I had a long talk, which goes into mentorship. It was an unofficial mentorship. One of my buddies that I've known in college, we came back in depth for like an hour and a half, like not only crypto, but life too. And he told me that he went from like 10K to 60 in 1 year. When I heard that, I said, what do I need to do? And I took some advice from the podcast he told me to check out. And I basically doubled my money in 4 months, So it's real. Educate yourself, read as much, look into white papers, look at anything related to Ethereum. Like you see how that's the base level protocol here, layer 0. So anything that builds on top of Ethereum, Chainlink, Polkadot, Cosmos, all these are related to like interoperability. Like for example, imagine if you speak to a girl or meet a girl that only speaks Spanish or Portuguese. How do you communicate with each other? Interoperability, or be able to bridge the gap, which is the same thing with crypto. You use something to connect, almost like a translator, so you could exchange that one crypto silo to another crypto silo and do exchanges. So I didn't want to bore you guys too much with it. It was a little crash course. Hopefully that wasn't too overwhelming. If you have some more questions, shoot. But I didn't want to bore you with too much jargon.
I had a question, and you know what? I definitely want to come back to this at a later podcast if that's possible. But if I want to get started with, let's say, Coinbase, do you think that's a good platform to go on? And
yeah. So just like you guys right now, you're asking our questions. I spoke to one of my cousins that made some money during 2020, which was a good time to get in, especially early in the year because the market tanked. So if you bought in and just held, you would have sometimes quadrupled or 10 times, 10 extra money. So Coinbase is the starting point. What I like about Coinbase is when you get on, they're a centralized exchange. We got to talk about that. There's a difference between centralized and decentralized exchanges. So centralized exchanges is where they want information on you because they comply with what the government tells them to do. But the true nature of crypto is be decentralized, where you're doing your transactions without any big player involved in the process. So the goal for me eventually is to get a little more off of the decentralized platforms that understand how that works. But you need to have a certain level of competency because there's no customer service if you screw up. Like for example, there's digital wallets, like your addresses that are kind of pseudo-anonymous, and I send money to you in another country through your wallet, almost like a one account to another. You can do it through a centralized, and you can do it through a decentralized exchange. But like Coinbase is arguably the best centralized exchange. Is debatable, but eventually you will want to get off because it has a vulnerability. But it's a good place to start.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like if you want to get started. Yeah, I say definitely going with Coinbase or.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be
regulated.
joining whatever you got. You keep those
like,
tips coming.
Yeah, like I definitely, like I said, I definitely want to get that whole podcast in, like with if you get your cousin in on it or whatever, just talk crypto and everything and how to get started and stuff. Because I'm hearing a whole bunch of stuff about Ethereum is like the best to get into. If you're gonna have, you can have like a little bit of the Bitcoin. There's also other coins coming out like Polkadot and some other ones I heard about.
I got some Polkadot.
Yeah, Polkadot.
So just I could tell you what's in my portfolio right now or things that I watch.
All right.
So I got some Ethereum.
Yeah.
I got a good amount of Chainlink.
Yeah.
Solano, Polkadot, Matic, and some Bitcoin. So those are 6. So one of my unofficial mentors told me that you don't, if you got under 20 or 30K, you want to have like a concentrated amount, because if you're all over the place, you got 10, 20 cryptos, you're not going to feel the movement as much. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I eventually started doing that, and I saw some results. So I'm still doubled my money, even though like Chainlink, which is related to Oracle's smart contracts, like we talked about conditions being met, and then your money being sent to you, and then Solano was a competitor to Ethereum. The crazy thing about Solano, it kind of blew up last month. Well, actually, a month or two ago, it was only like $22. Let's see what it was last month. Actually, we got to go back a little further. I think it was August or late July. It was around like 20 or $50. Now it's like 150 per coin.
Almost double.
So like, there's a lot of swings. You know, like if you get in early, you can make a lot of money in this market. So let's look at July 14th, it was 31. Let's see when did it blow up. August 1st, it was still 31. In September, I think it's really started to get a lot of movement. It got around over 100, 150. But Ethereum last year, bro, Ethereum, it was only like 150.
It's like,
let me.
I think it's like 3,000 now or something, or more than that.
Yeah. So March 13th of last year was 133, and it fluctuated around 100 to $200. But let's say towards the end of 2020, it was around 350, then 500, and then the beginning of this year, it just started blowing up like 700, 1,000. So like, imagine you got it even at $350 around towards the end of the year, you would have 10x your money. So you just say you bought one for like $350, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just one. You would have got to 3,500. You would have 10x your money, 10 times your money within 6 months, 8 months. Just of knowing what the technology is. What is a real world application? What does it do? What does it allow you to do? And what are their weaknesses? And then looking at things that build on top of it. Like one of the issues that I heard with Ethereum is that it's gas fees, or the fees that you have to pay for exchanges on decentralized exchanges, where you have to pony up a little bit of Ethereum to pay for the transfers, which can be expensive. But things that are built on top of it, like Matic, which is still pretty cheap, and in my opinion, it is undervalued. It's called Polygon, or you could refer to it as Matic. It's on Coinbase. That is only worth like $1 and some change, like $1.34. So if you could get into it for like $1.20 underneath, that's a really good price. That is built on Ethereum, and it makes Ethereum more efficient. So things that complement like popular cryptos, I would put money in. But again, it is just educational.
Yeah.
Support is not. It's like I'm not your financial advisor. So that is my standpoint. Like when my boy told me that he went from like 10 to 60K, and normally I would say you're full of shit, but he's a reliable dude, and he showed me his like a screenshot of his portfolio. I was like, yo, this dude is legit, and that's all I needed to know. And I wish I did it earlier, because
I'm the same way, man. 2018, 2019, I was like, you guys are crazy and everything. What are you talking about? This is never gonna blow up. Damn. I think it's mainly because of the pandemic. I think like kind of lowered they sent out all these stimulus packages, and they're lowering the value of the dollar. They're just printing money like crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's not even worth nothing.
I mean, from like 2019 to 2021, everybody's been on the digital money. Like there's hardly any cash anymore.
Yeah. It's
Remember the coin shortages you were hearing about early last year? Like,
Yeah.
And it's probably still somewhat of a thing right now. That's because people aren't using money as much. They're not going out and spending with cash like they used to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all digital, man. I just.
So what do you think about? Because I had a couple people. They try to put me onto what's this app? I don't even know the name. Dog Seat. No,
Finance.
what is it called?
Are you talking about a coin or an app?
It's one of the investment apps. It start with, I think it's a seed.
Robinhood.
Robinhood, yes.
I'm trying to get off Robinhood.
I would agree, because you know what, that whole AMC thing where they restricted you to, make money on those betting against the market. Those hedge funds were losing money, and it was like almost a guaranteed time for people to make money. But Robinhood kind of protected the hedge fund, and this goes back to centralization. When you are dealing with any centralized platform, whether you agree or disagree, like if you believe in free speech, right? And the point of free speech is like, you might disagree with someone's words or what they say, but you should be able to say it because that's like un-American, right? If you want to go with that. Or if you don't agree with someone making money off of a big billionaire, you shouldn't be restricted. That's why I'm saying centralized exchanges, big banks, digital platforms, all of these things restrict guys like you and me. Like, people should have made more of a killing, but they didn't allow you to short them and make money off of the L's. So personally, I wouldn't deal with Robinhood. At one point, you couldn't even transfer your crypto from them to another wallet without actually selling out and creating a taxable event. This goes to education too. You don't want to pay more taxes than you're legally allowed to or forced to. For example, when you deal with crypto, when you sell your crypto, or you actually use it in a debit card format, which you can't use, you create a taxable event where Uncle Sam is they're gonna be knocking, like, yo, where's their cut? You know what I mean? Like, and if you want to invest it and grow, it's counterintuitive to be selling it. You want to have it multiply and get that 10x factor. So I would highly encourage you guys to start reading white papers from crypto projects, as they refer to them, because they're not only coins, they have teams behind them building these projects / coins. And education, boys, education.
Education.
Now, Will, if let's say someone like myself, who's actually in the shit, who has funds in Robinhood, like, would you recommend just like buying out or something, or what? Or just
so what I've heard with Robinhood is that I think they're trying. I don't know if you have crypto or you can convert it to crypto. It would be nice if you could convert it to crypto. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I have to look more into it because I don't use Robinhood, but I have a friend that told me that they were going to fix that whole issue with them not being able to send it to other digital wallets. Because I know a lot of guys said they had Bitcoin and they didn't want to sell their Bitcoin because they didn't want to get taxed on it.
Yeah.
So they were waiting for them to fix it where they could send it to a digital wallet. Now,
so I want to send it to either that or Coinbase itself and let it grow or whatever. But
yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Like, again, do your due diligence. Make sure that you're following with Robinhood. Because I just heard that they were trying to fix that issue. I know it was a big issue. The Coinbase is probably arguably, maybe Crypto.com is not bad either, but Coinbase is one of the better and bigger centralized exchanges. And then you got decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, and I think a few. Uniswap is more reliable from what I've heard. But again, you don't want to jump into decentralized exchanges until you understand how to transfer money safely, because there's no customer service if you were to send it to the wrong address. You send it to the wrong address, those funds are gone. You're not calling.
If you forget your password to your wallet.
Yeah. You need to have that stuff like master. You need to have a contingency program. I forgot the wallet, but you have a record of it somewhere else in a safe, or you know what I mean? Or you have it written somewhere else off the internet that can't be hacked. So these are things you need to know before you get to that next level. And that's kind of why I'm preparing myself, like ledgers to actually store your crypto on it that's off the internet. You know what I mean? So those are more sophisticated, but they're not complicated because there's so much information online. to access, whether it's through Google, YouTube, and then verify how they're doing it. So it's the wild, wild west out there with in terms of this technology. But at the same time, early adopters are going to be rewarded in the long term.
Yeah. It is some good shit, man. Like, the people listening, we're getting this information for free and everything. Usually people pay for this type of info. Shit.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah, and then maybe if I come back on for like a crypto specific or investment, so I can share some of the links that I use personally, or maybe at a future date I could just share those people that really helped me out, because I'm just about maybe started this in late March, early April. And I already saw a return on my investment. I made more money off of crypto than I did with like e-commerce. Had me reevaluating life.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the best part is you can see the investment.
And let people understand this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a people got to be in for the long term. This is not it's not a
I'm a buy and hold type of guy.
Yeah.
But there's a guy on YouTube, Instagram, probably on Facebook too. His name is Patrick Bet David. I think his channel is called Valuetainment. And he has a really good video, and he talks about investing. Like, it's basically about doubling your money. And he said that money is like a woman, or like if you're a female, it'd be like a man. Like, money likes to be seduced. A woman or a man likes to be around someone that's interesting. That's like, if you have your money in the same spot, that's boring. You want it to be moving. You want to be going somewhere. You want it to be doubling. And people, think of a guy that has a very compelling and charismatic, like, kind of demeanor. He's always going to have people around him. Just like people that are good investors, money's always going to come your way. Either you're going to find money, or people are going to want to invest with you because of, how appealing you are. So that's kind of how I look at the crypto, because I don't invest in Dogecoin. Disclaimer. I don't put my money in Shiba Inu. Disclaimer. I got to put my money in the projects that actually have real world applications that actually do something in the space. Most of that is crap, XRP crap. I might hurt people's feelings, but that's okay. They'd rather hear it from me than someone else. So put it, put your money where you actually believe in it, where you can actually let it sit, and then maybe let it multiply for you. Because I don't believe in working for my money indefinitely, unless it's my passion. Like, if I'm doing something that's a hobby that I like to do, okay. But like me working till I'm 60, 70, no.
Yeah.
No, my money doesn't work for me.
Ultimately, you want to be working for yourself, man, if you're going to be working for anybody, because most of these people, like we just talked about, the reliance on Social Security or whatever, it's gone. It's not going to be there for us. So you might as well be doing your own shit. And
another disclaimer, I'm not telling people to quit their jobs. I'm telling them just think more strategic what they do.
Quit today!
Yeah. So, like, it could be simple as, like, okay, instead of going out to eat or spending a lot of money on your girlfriend or whatever, maybe you cut back $300 a month, and that $300 could be something you put into stocks or crypto, invest in yourself, your business. Because you're to be honest with you, your greatest investment would be in yourself in terms of education and just growth, like we're talking about. But after that, after you have your competency in something that you feel like you feel like you could move forward with some reasonable experience or knowledge, then put your money in other things. And that's kind of what's all circling back to the purpose. And it gives you excitement, because I could talk about this stuff. I mean, you might even be able to tell by the tone of my voice that it fires me up, because it allows me to get to my goal, my overall goal of being financially independent or financially free, or even semi-retired, and in maybe a 10 to 15 year period. It's just going to accelerate my growth.
We're definitely going to have that podcast, man. We're definitely going to have that, man. Yeah. We don't want to give them all out. Give it away right now, man, because we want to keep people salivating. Because all you gotta do is tell people, hey, this is how you're gonna make more money, become financially free. Yeah. That's what our ultimate dream, besides girls and stuff.
Yes, sir.
So, Will, I mean, what other going in? I mean, tell the people. I know, you started LLC, your e-commerce business. So I didn't know if you wanted to go into detail with that or not.
Well, we could tie in a lot of the other topics we discussed about related to, like, failure, getting outside of your comfort zone. we'll pause on the LLC that I created in 2021, but I have to be honest, I started an LLC earlier in 2016, and right when I moved to Texas, and I was very excited it was going to be kind of like a real estate venture, something along those lines. And I'm going to give you the positives and the negatives out of it. The positives that I learned, how to set up LLC. I learned the tax structure, the benefits of write-offs for like business expenses, like trainings, and it's very lucrative. And then when you get taxed as a business, it's a lot better than getting taxed as an individual. But the negatives, I would say, were the fact that I wasn't prepared and I relied too much on my partners at the time, and we had different interests. And then ultimately, I just decided to myself, it's better off I end this or just dissolve this LLC, and I start at a later date because I had too much going on. I was working on a master's degree. I was getting settled in a new state. I wasn't mentally prepared, and I was relying too much on other people. My biggest problem was that I was looking for other people to create my dream or what I wanted to do, assuming that I couldn't do it myself as the point man. And that was one of my biggest takeaways. I took away to the fact that I could do most of what I need to do, at least in the beginning, with maybe one partner that was very effective. And that's what I took that energy into 2021. And I have a business associate, just me and this other associate, and all the weaknesses that I have in terms of the organization, like getting the Excel spreadsheets with all the taxable expenses, kind of like almost like QuickBooks, keeping all the organized documents together in like a Drive folder so we can access it. We could work on projects separately and delegate assignments. We're like, hey, we need to do this. You keep track of this assignment. I'll keep track of that. We'll have a due date and follow up. When someone holds you accountable, whether it's like a relationship partner or a business partner that's motivated like you, it doubles your effort. So those are my takeaways. Moving into 2021, I knew after looking at what happened in 2020 that you can't work in the normal frame of things. You have to be thinking towards creating your own type of platforms, your own entities. So I started first with just looking at, doing e-commerce and looking at products that might sell. And everyone knows that in 2020 with the pandemic, a lot of people started working from home. So it led us to look at office supplies like lamps. And we found a really cool one. So I contacted the supplier, negotiated the price, had it shipped to the U.S. We did it through Alibaba. This is all new. We're educating ourselves. We use a lot of free resources. I don't know if you guys are familiar with small business development centers. They're called SBDCs. Most major cities or towns have one of these institutions that you could call people up and ask them questions, set up appointments. And I heavily relied on this. And I was already familiar with creating the LLC from my previous endeavors, but they gave me another idea that I'm starting to do, halfway through the process of getting certified, government contracts. And the current federal administration believes in giving back and allowing minorities, which you have to leverage whatever you got, whether you're a male, female, African American, Asian, Latino, they're willing to do business with small businesses to provide services, right? And this is very lucrative because my experience working with the government, they overpay for a lot. so they spend trillions of dollars per year. And even if I think they want to get to maybe like 20 to 40%, I forget the exact amount of small business contracts. Like you can make money. Let's say you have a lamp or any product and it really takes you $20 to get after shipping, and then the government will buy for $40, per unit. And that's something I've been educating myself on. There's a whole process with, they don't want to get too detailed here, but there's a local certification, state certification, and a federal certification. I already got the local certification because you have these social economic codes like African American business enterprise, small business enterprise, veteran business enterprise, blah, blah, blah. All these acronyms, all these alphabet soup. And then you have the state certification, which is through the hub, the historically underutilized business. So you get registered for all this stuff. It's very encompassing. So if you're not all about this life, it's so easy to be consumed by it. But I set up my little weekly goals, and I got help. I got a lot of resources that help me out with this, but with not going on too long, that kind of covers a lot of it. Any other questions?
So like if you're looking to like, so you're basically like almost like a middleman for this business, or are you just, or is this your?
So to be honest with you, we got to separate the two components. For the e-commerce site, I'm selling a product on Amazon.
Okay.
And the other portion of the business is the government contracts, where I guess in a sense I'm a middleman. I'm providing a service to the government. I don't know how much experience you guys have with this. Like me working with the government, you see them buy overpriced products all the time. And that was me as a consumer, not as a producer of goods or a person that's doing drop shipping, or you want to call it wholesaling. Let's call it wholesaling. I'm buying a product for as low as I can get it, and I'm selling it to an end user that I get as much out of the profit share that's as a competitive bid, but I get a nice profit margin. So that's kind of how I'm looking at government contracts. Like my Amazon store is already open, it's running. But with my government contracting portion of my business that I'm looking to get into, I need to just register for it. There's something I've just created. It's called a capability statement. So it's a combination of a resume and a brochure for your business. They have NAICS codes, NAICS codes, the North American Industry Classification System codes that go over what your business can actually provide. Where like my codes focus on office supplies. So when they look at the resume, they know that I have a friend that I work with that could do technology. So computer training, updating, things of that nature. Those are services I could provide to the federal, state, local government. And that's something I'm looking to launch towards the end of this year. Already got the domain for my business, Athena Technologies, .com. And so I'm just going to work on the website right now. So I got all these little projects that I'm working on that I'm, leveraging to some of my peers, and it keeps me busy. It definitely keeps
Sounds
me
like
busy.
it.
Yeah. So a lot of it's education. Like there's a lot of things I was rattling off. I didn't learn it overnight. I was learning it because like my foot was to the fire. Like, oh, we're going to do this. I'm going to learn about government contracts. I'm going to do I'm going to call this person. I'm going to email this guy. I'm going to harass him and get information that I need. So it's almost like a relentless thing. When you're passionate, what you're really, really passionate about is like something that doesn't seem like work. You're not really working. I barely consider it work. Sometimes I'm doing this and like 4 or 5 hours go past. I'm like, damn, really? You know what I mean? And I guess you guys feel about that in your platform. So
yeah,
I would
highly encourage people to, pretty much playing a video game. I'm leveling up my character. Like maybe my character needs to be a mage and I need to level up my intelligence. I'm leveling that sucker up. That's the beauty of the internet. It's like the equalizer. You hop on your phone, you hop on your computer, you hop on your tablet, whatever your wireless device is. You have access to level yourself up so easily. And I think people just need to be empowered to know that they just need to take a small step and they could make that climb and get where they need to be. And I'm not even done. Like I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. I'm not even satisfied. Some people might say, "Oh, you did a lot." I don't feel that way because I didn't double up to where I needed to double up. I need to get my doubles game moving. I need to be like financially independent, multimillionaire. Then I might start getting satisfied, but maybe at that point I'm gonna feel like I need to do more. The bar keeps on going up. Yeah, that's the DLC. That's the video game. That's the DLC. The game's not over.
Yeah, it's just like when we started this podcast, man. Like I'm thankful for my partners here and everything, but I had to be prepared to do this by myself if need be. But I was just fortunate it grew into, I'm grateful for the fact that it grew to such a bigger thing than it was a month and a half ago. We didn't have an Instagram, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have any of that shit. And it's like, it's in a state of growth. And I'm just like happy to see that, but this stuff it just doesn't happen, man. You got to put the work in, it doesn't happen by itself.
You got to stay hungry. You really, some people are hungrier than others, but, and that hunger is never satiated. It's never enough, because when you achieve a certain amount of success, you want more and want more and want more and want more.
No, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And then eventually what's going to be a beautiful thing is that even at our small level, like there might be someone that wants to start their own podcast or wants to learn how to access certain state resources that are free to them they might not know about. And this might be the starting point, but this might be like, the catalyst.
Right.
And then maybe when they're moving along, we're a few steps above and they grow with us, and it's going to be rewarding. I believe that I think there's another book by Robert Greene called Mastery. I used to spend a lot of time driving for work, so I would always listen to podcasts through YouTube. Like, they just have very convenient. So I would just drive hours and I would listen to these things. So a lot of these concepts have been ingrained in me, and I would encourage people to search out what information that they find relevant, whether it's books like The Richest Man in Babylon, How to Become Wealthy, 48 Laws of Power, The 4-Hour Work Week. These are all things that if you believe you want to move to the next level, you have to ingrain these thoughts. It's not like skimming it. You have to be in part of your essence. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you can't be cherry.
No, but that going back to mastery. So there's a certain point, and I think we all touched it, where we spoke about don't be affected by analysis paralysis, because you have to consume this information. But G, I think you said it best. You have to just jump into it, and you also want to be a teacher, because you're learning. But when you get to a certain level of competence, I don't know if it's like 10,000 or 100,000 hours, they say you can do something, you're a master at it. You want to jump from that student level to a master, even if a young master or a new master, and then pick up apprentices. I usually have a few guys that I know personally in my life that I might give advice to, and it's crazy to see them grow. And they'll bring it up like, hey, if it wasn't for you, man, I wouldn't have did the cybersecurity boot camp, and I wouldn't be able to get this house. Based off of something I recommended. They did the work, but they were very appreciative of the the advice. And another guy that did ROTC to become an officer, and he failed at it prior I think two times, yeah. Previously he failed at it, and now he finally got through ROTC because I identified that ROTC is a better structured system to get you through where you need to go based off your personality type. So it's great. It's a rewarding feeling to actually help someone get where they need to be. So I look at this platform as a conduit to do that.
Nice. It was all about giving that input, and hopefully people take it for what it is and use it.
Definitely.
Man, this was a loaded episode, man. This is a loaded ass episode. Yo, before we go, man, can we plug? We gotta plug your lamp for a second. I'm gonna highlight. How do I highlight it? Spotlight for everyone. All right. Now showcase that lamp.
Ooh.
Showcase that.
See if I can.
So, Will, I don't know if you can see Matt. Like, can you?
Yeah, I can see Matt.
Yeah, you could tell us what this is all about. Like, what this is? This the product that you're?
Yeah, it's a pretty solid office lamp. It has like a wireless charging platform on it, and then it has about 5 lighting settings. So I think it's a button in the middle, Matt. If you just tap it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get that stable. Actually, straighten up the. There you go. So if you keep on tapping it, that's probably my favorite setting. It's more of like an orange glow, and then that fluorescent. So it's pretty useful. Sometimes I use it on the go. For anyone that wants to create a little home office, I thought it'd be just a great little addition to any office or any home or any desk that you're working on. So if you look at the powers to the left, the mode system, which is the 5 settings that Matt was going through, and you see that line where it goes from minimum to max. Mm-hmm. It's touch sensitive, so you could adjust how high you want the intensity with the brightness. And then the last button on the right that looks like a clock is the timer. So it's like a 30-minute interval up to an hour. And then in the center, kind of where you see those little symbols, is the wireless charging aspect. So there you go. It's a product that I launched this year. I think it's pretty solid. Anyone that's looking for a present for the holidays, for some of their loved ones or the family, show your support if you find it interesting.
Be perfect for the guy up at late at night on his grind.
Yeah, perfect, exactly. And you guys actually have the Amazon link make sure you click. If anyone's interested, make sure you hit that 8% discount link on the Amazon platform, and then it'll knock it down, and you'll be on your way.
We'll put it on the link. We'll put the link on the YouTube page. What's happening here? We'll put the link on the
Matt
YouTube
looks like
page.
he's sharing his screen again. So that's the link on
that's the link
Amazon.
There we go.
Yeah. So they have it in black and white. Personally, I think the black is a better, sleeker look design. I think Matt would agree. So if you look under the price, you see a coupon. Yeah. If you see the coupon, make sure you click that link that next to the orange coupon box, and you'll get an extra 8% at the checkout screen. But we spent a little time doing our due diligence, running some numbers, making sure that it was something that made sense, that people could find utility in. And we went through a bunch of other products, and we thought to ourselves, this is actually that a lot of people that are on the go or do work late night, work from home, definitely going to have some impact. There's going to have some utility with this sleek, modern design.
And like you said, the holiday, Christmas is going to be here before we know it. So people definitely makes for a great Christmas gift, most definitely. So Hanukkah,
definitely.
or whatever.
Support our peoples.
Perfect for students. If you're a college student, high school student, like G said, if you're on your grind late at night, perfect for that as well.
Oh yeah. Check out those ratings, by the way. We got at least 4.5 stars right there. Looking like okay, it's not too bad. Not too bad.
Perfect for college dorm. Excellent desk or nightstand lamp. Great for different settings. I mean, I traveled with it this weekend, so easy. Able to put it in my bag for travel. It folds up nicely. So yeah,
bro.
perfect.
Anything, it charges your phone.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sick of I left my charger brick at Matt's house last time I was there, and I had to rely on one wire. Man, if that ever happens to you, at least you got this lamp. You got a light and a damn charger. Boom! Just slap the phone on there.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
And another thing that has an additional USB port. So if you have one of those fast charging cables, you could attach that to the additional USB port, and then go on your way.
Right.
Because those fast cables are pretty solid. If you lose your box or forget your charging box at home.
Right. So if you're on your grind, or you bring a honey home and stuff like that, they need to charge their phone because they've been taking too many selfies for Instagram or whatever. They could charge it right there.
Too easy.
Think about it.
There it is.
So this was a loaded episode, man. Will, thanks for coming on the platform and talking about.
Thanks for having me.
About it, helping us.
Yeah, well, thank you.
On the path to a high value mail. Oh, I think can anybody find you social media wise, or is that going to be a?
Well, I'm trying to set up the. Actually, I do have an Instagram for the platform, but I'm adding more content to it. So on a follow up interview, we could share all that. Definitely.
Right, not a problem. So as always, you can find your boy G-Net on Instagram, garnett.galloway. You can find me also. Okay, pray to the heavens. Can I spell this shit? Genetics Cosupre. That's my cosplay page. GNETIXKOSUPURE. Got it, baby. You find all my cosplay outfits and all that stuff. I mean, I'm semi-retired, but I still periodically put stuff up there. Ron, I don't know what happened to Ron. Ron, I think he lost his charge, but you can find Ron on TSR Photos on IG. I think on YouTube also. I think he has a thing up there. I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely on Instagram. TSR Photos, takes photos of stuff. And Probes, you can find him on the Straight Up Ish podcast. We probably say that shit. Yo, it is mid-October, man. You said mid-October.
It's kind of beginning. I mean, like around the 15th or so. So
come on, man. is practically, come on, that's next week. Okay, so by next podcast, hold this to this dude. So the next time will probably be the 16th, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That is the deadline for this dude. That is the deadline for you to get some sort of social media presence. All right? Stop sucking up Ish's teeth. All right? You'll finally get some damn shit up there. They'll be like, oh, I don't have an Instagram. You always tell these girls, man. They don't know who the hell you are. That's how they check. Oh, shit. And then, as always, you can find the Straight Up Ish podcast on IG. We got our IG page. Those of you on YouTube, thanks for watching. Subscribe, subscribe. Those of you listening audibly, we're on every platform. Like, subscribe, give us 5 stars, man. If you enjoyed this stuff, we're gonna have Will back on to talk about crypto. Hopefully, I hope you take this all in stride, man. Like being a high value male. I mean, that's important. It's believe it or not, it's important for the psyche of a male, that they're finding their purpose or whatever. Man, just take this information for what it is and everything. Don't take it personally if it affects you. Like, oh, what are you saying about me? Just take it as an educational experience. We're here for you. You want to write in. We always say write in if you hate us or whatever. Tell us we're cursing too much or whatever, and then we'll politely say, I won't even say it. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace, guys.
This has been the Straight Up Ish podcast. We're on Google, Apple, and Spotify, and everywhere you listen to your podcasts. New episodes every week, so don't forget to subscribe.